さんしろ
Sega Saturn, SHIRO!
Hey everyone, it's Friday, and that means it's SHIRO Show. I'm Saturn Dave. We got Trino Co. We're lined up from. We're lined up to talk about some Saturn news. How you doing, Pat?
I'm doing pretty good. Just you know, living things in my life. Go ahead with your own life. Just leave me alone.
Deep
Deep
cuts.
Keep it to yourself. It's my life.
Other than that,
I might have been listening to
you're
Billy Joel
responsible
before
for.
this,
Ooh, I have the browser up. Like, I didn't mean to have the browser up. Like right when we were coming into the conversation.
You spoiled it, Dave.
I spoiled it. But I can already see you've been busy because you're responsible for the 3 articles that we have up. Or wait, no, Peter's responsible for the one
Dave. Of them. I am responsible.
You're irresponsible. You're irresponsible for it.
Yep, it's my life. It's now or never. I ain't gonna live forever.
Just gotta.
I'm gonna stop quoting.
What is that?
Stop quoting East Coast artists now.
Guns N' Roses.
No, that's.
Just gonna live while I'm alive.
That's when I'm in the jungle.
Oh, okay, right.
I don't know. Does he have a song about his life?
No, I was mistaking it. All those bands kind of, you know.
Yeah, it was Bon Jovi.
It was Bon Jovi there. Okay, yeah, I get those mixed up.
Jovi. That's why I said East Coast artist.
Yeah. So yeah, we didn't have a lot of news this week, but there were a couple things, and I'm really glad that you got that most recent article up, because like when it dropped a week ago, I was thinking like we got to write an article about that. We got to write an article, but it just didn't happen. So you got it up, and that's good.
It's pretty good, yeah. But in the meantime, do you want to discuss anything like what's going on with you Saturn wise? Do you want to talk about our upcoming podcast that we're doing?
Yeah. Well, we're going to be having a special guest on the show, right? We're recording that tomorrow, right?
Yep. Peter Molyneux.
Peter Molyneux. No, I'm just kidding. No, we're having it's not a secret, right? Or is it a secret?
We'll keep it a surprise.
Okay, we'll keep it a surprise.
But you'll definitely know who he is when he comes on the podcast. So
definitely, it's exciting. We're gonna talk about crazy, weird in Japan games, right? That's the plan.
Yeah, it's gonna be some weird Japanese games. We won't say which, but there's some weird ones.
And there are a lot of them. Let me tell you.
Yeah, if you've seen the Discord in general last night, you probably could guess which one of them are gonna be.
Right.
Because it looked kind of weird.
Right.
So I'm not gonna say what it was, but just look in general. I think actually it's in Saturn Games. I think in the channel. Check that, and if you want to know, you'll know.
If you know, you know. But
exactly.
But yeah.
You know. If you don't, you don't.
That's the wonderful thing about the Sega Saturn is there are so many crazy, weird games locked in Japan. And I'm like finding out about new stuff all the time. Mostly it's because like you'll go in and you'll just scratch the surface of stuff that kind of like pops out at you right away. If you're watching like a YouTube, 100 games in 10 minutes or whatever, you're watching those videos blow by and you're like, okay, I got to try this out. And you usually go for the stuff where you're just scraping the surface. But if you really get back into it, you can find some like really deep cuts from the Japanese Saturn library, and some of them are like really good stuff,
Exactly. There's a lot of definitely really obscure stuff that, like, I keep saying it over and over again. You think you know everything about Saturn, you think you know all the weird games, and then bam, hits you right like a truck, and it's like more weirdness, and it just gets weirder and weirder. I don't think there's no stopping this weird train.
Truth is, I could say the same thing about the PlayStation, though. In Japan, there are a ton of oddball PlayStation games that never got released in the West as well. But I guess,
What'd you bring up the PlayStation for?
Why'd I bring that up? I don't know. You tell me, Pat.
Yeah, I don't know what you're telling me. You're bringing a PlayStation on a Saturn podcast. I don't know why you're doing that for. Very disrespectful.
For folks who are listening, you just won't get the joke.
Yeah, well, they won't get it, and I'm not gonna explain it.
Anyway, yeah. So what? I don't know. What else do you want to talk about? Like, there's really not a whole lot to talk about this week. I guess my dox myself a little bit. My son, his like aftercare program called and they were like, oh, he might have been in contact with somebody who might have had, so it was like he's been staying home all week and I've been having to like get him early.
Hasn't this been like the second time this happened too?
It's gonna happen all year. If you have kids, I guarantee, like, folks across the country, this is going to be happening to us this year. You're just going to be getting random calls at work, like, you got to come pick up your kid because I think he played with Johnny last Tuesday, and Johnny just got a letter from his doctor or something like that. And, of course, like, my son tested negative, but they don't care. They're like, well, we'll see him on Monday. I'm like, seriously? Anyway, that's all I really, that's my life this week. It's just been working and, having to, like, do extra daddy daycare because of the school system and everything like that being what it is. But I played some Saturn.
Yeah,
I played some Saturn.
Yeah, same here. I've been playing a couple Saturn games last night. Did some recording.
Yeah, I saw
Saturn
that.
Games. But yeah,
cool.
it's all good. Everything's good on that end. I do want to ask one question. Any Japan only 3D platformers to recommend? There's a ton of them.
Yeah.
There's let's see, what's the Ninpen Manomaru?
So there's Ninpen Manmaru. There's a Ninja Kun something. I forget what. Type in Ninja Sega Saturn Japanese, and there's another Ninja game that's a 3D platformer where you're like running on the rooftops and stuff, and it's a cool game. I can't remember the name of it right now. Somebody will probably correct me in the comments. But whatever. What else? Magical Hoppers, I guess, is kind of different than.
Yeah.
What would you say?
Isn't that technically 2.5D though?
Yeah, I mean, but it's like polygonal. I don't know if they're asking like literally third person behind the back perspective or if you would count like any kind of polygonal platformer, but what else? There's not a whole lot.
Special?
Yeah, no. That would be a bad recommendation if they were looking for 3D platformers.
A good one.
Honestly, there's not a lot of 3D platformers on the Saturn in general. So the ones that we do have, you've got, Croc. I love it, but it's not great if I'm being honest. And you got
Does Bug count?
Bug is, yeah, I mean, I count it. It's quasi 3D. It's definitely like one of those games where they didn't really know what a 3D platformer was supposed to be yet. So I still count it. You're moving into the screen and you're moving, sideways. Dave Warhol kind of called it like a quad scroller, That's kind of what he referred to it as, like a quad scroller. So, the homebrew one.
Homebrew,
Cube Cat.
Poodleitas.
Cube Cat, seven shades Cube Cat, and he's still working on it, making progress on that. I saw a recent progress update in the Sega Extreme forum, so I'm excited to play more of that.
I'm excited to play that. Hopefully, we'll get to play it for the next game competition.
I know that. I'm actually real hyped for the game competition. I have to say, I want to see progress on Cube Cat. Blue Skies. I've just been hyped for Blue Skies for over a year, and of course, Xenos is like keeping it pretty low key. Like mostly I have to just kind of lurk in the Sega Extreme forums and kind of see what they're doing, but for the most part, like I'm really
just
hyped to play
the fence like Wilson.
Yeah, I understand that the physics are gonna be like physics of an airplane are not, those are kind of difficult. So I won't blame him if they're not complete on well, it's not like he would care if I blamed him anyway, but I won't care if the physics aren't perfect. I just am interested to play that. But yeah, I mean, of course, Hellslave, whatever progress is made on that, it's going to be awesome. I've already kind of seen, the progress that he's made, and it's awesome. Can you think of any other ones that you're hyped for the game competition?
Game competition. Definitely more progress on Cube Cat, Hellslave, like always. Mm-hmm. And just that, actually, the Mall Santa dating one, and
yeah,
I hope Sansligo submits something.
Yeah. Is it Sansagolo or
Sansagolo? Yeah.
Yeah.
Sansagolo.
So I'm sure he will. I'm sure he'll, submit something in some form because I think he missed it last year. Just like missed it by that much. But yeah. So I'm also hoping for some others that we don't see coming. Kind of like Cube Cat. Like last year, that just came out of nowhere and shocked us all.
There were a lot of good ones.
So yeah, I'm hoping somebody is just working quietly on something and will surprise us. But yeah,
Mall Santa, I want Mall Santa and maybe a Craig dating sim.
Yeah, Craig Stadler. We need you need to get on that, Nick. Quit your job and get some programming.
Yikes.
No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, that would be awesome if we had a Craig Stadler
I'll give you
game.
a C walkthrough.
I don't know what else. This has been kind of a boring week. I've been working on a secret project. Well, it's not a secret to you.
We still can't talk about it.
We still can't really talk about it. Project. But I've been working my butt off on that, and you know, I still haven't. I can kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel. We'll see.
I say you're about 95% of the way there. 90%.
Yeah, I don't know. That's the thing, is even when you kind of have it all together, there's just a lot more that has to be done on it. So I would say I'm maybe like 80%. But I'm excited. I'm excited to just get it done, get it out. We'll see. I can't really say anything else about it, but I'm excited for that.
Yeah,
and then
I'm really excited for it. I need to do some contributions to it this weekend.
Yes, yeah, that'd be great.
But once we're ready to announce it, you guys are gonna be like, "Oh my gosh, this is it! This is amazing! It's amazing! It's blowing my mind right now."
I hope so.
That's what you guys
I hope so.
Like.
Okay, so we got 17 people in the chat. We need to entertain them with some news, unless you have something else, another topic you want to bring up really quick.
I just want to say that that Pandemonium says no pad assembly only. I want to feel pain. I'm not even that much of a sadist myself, so you got to go somewhere else for that. But let's move on after that.
Okay, all right. Hold on a second. Oh, the stream been stuck loading for 15 minutes.
It's good for me. Maybe he just has some internet issues.
Oh, okay, yeah, it's good for me too.
Loud and clear.
Oh wait, no, it actually is stuck. Oh no, it isn't.
I was gonna say it's not stuck. I see myself right here. I'm watching it live.
Okay, good. Well, you know, people in the comments are tricking us. I'm sorry, Shadow. You're gonna if you're watching it in your car, like I think you said you were watching it in your car on like 240p or something. Maybe that's why. Maybe you're on like.
I want to get some internet towers to boost that signal, my friend.
Maybe he's using 2G. Yeah, like an
2G.
old 2G. I don't know. Is anybody on 2G anymore? 2G, or is it all 3G, 4G?
I get dropped sometimes when I'm like over my data plan.
Yeah.
But it's like if I'm in a really bad place.
So the first article was a Best of Saturn, Legend of the Fighting Dragon, Elan Dory. Well, yeah, you know, that's the thing is, this is kind of a controversial game. It's not one that everybody likes. And when Peter does, he does the articles like the hashtag Best of Saturn. Sometimes it's not really the best game of the Saturn's library, but he's just. I think it started out as a showcase of the Saturn's best games, and then it just kind of turned into like this whole thing where he's just showing off all of Saturn's like obscure games and stuff like that. So sometimes
I like it though.
Yeah, I personally like it. I know that not everybody does. I've heard some people complain about it, or they, you know, the thing is the Saturn has so many good fighting games, right? So by comparison, some folks might be like, oh, okay, well, it's kind of shallow in terms of a fighting game, you know. But it's got some cool stuff going for it.
Yeah, honestly, I was talking to Peter about this, and we should probably like maybe a small publication of like a Best of Saturn, like a little novella-sized thing, and just publish something like that, and just have all these descriptions on it. Yeah,
that would be rad. I mean, there's certainly enough games. There's certainly enough great games that you could make like a cool coffee table book or something like that.
For real, what do you guys think? Would you buy a book like that, like a Best of Saturn book? Yes, no, maybe so.
So tell me what you
hell no.
Tell me what you can tell me about this game from your perspective.
Well, I actually played it a little bit. So it's by the company Sci-Mi, which I've never heard of. So I did some Googling, and they made 2 games on the Saturn. The first one was Puppy Breeder, and the second one was this. Right,
and that's so bizarre. You're like, okay. Like that is so like those are worlds apart from each other, you know. But I guess if Real Time Associates could do Bug, and then they could do Crusader No Remorse, you know, it's like it's possible. Like you know, they're definitely stretching from one genre to another. But yeah, this is kind of like a
big stretch.
Incidentally, you do have pets in this, not puppies, but you have dragons. You ride dragons and you fight with these dragons, and
it's a pretty fun game. It kind of reminds me of a bit. People keep saying, like, I think Peter described it as Fighting Vipers-esque, but I kind of felt it was more like Power Stone. Like Power Stone.
I can kind of see
how
I can see how you can compare it to both of those, you know, in ways. I mean, personally, I feel like I'm gonna kind of be one of those people who says that it's kind of lacking in terms of actual fighting and action. Like, I just feel like it's kind of slow and clunky. But I feel like it's a feast for the eyes, you know. It's definitely, in terms of the Saturn, textures are great. You know, 3D modeling is great. You know, it's got cool music. It's got like these high resolution menus that I think are noteworthy. I think it's even got like there's a cheat where you can get it into English, like full English menus, full English text, and voicing. There's actually English voiceovers. So
really, I did not know about that.
yeah, and so somebody out there did like released like a forced patch. One of those forced patches where they basically just they did this with a couple of games. I think they did it with Vampire Savior too, where they made it sound like it was like this big release, you know the group that I'm talking about. They're like, we're releasing this game.
Oh, the ones that just can't stop.
Right. Well, they were like, okay, we're releasing this game and it's in English, and a lot of folks were just like, well, it already has an option to go to English in the menu, you know? And they're like, yeah, well, we just patched it so that it forces it in English. And they're like, well, that's not better, because now you don't have a choice, right? It's like you just get English. But I mean, I guess it kind of simulates having the game in English. But technically, yeah, this game supports both Japanese dialogue, like voice dialogue, and text. And there is a patch out there that exists that just basically forces it into English.
And can you actually put this on the menu, or for this game specifically, or do you have to actually like hack it?
I believe in this game there is a cheat, or sorry, there is a code that you can put in,
okay.
a code that unlocks the English menus and the dialogue and stuff. Somebody please correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that's how it works. And then then they just figured out how to patch it and just make it so that it loads up English every time. So if you search on the high seas, you might be able to find that out there if you're interested in just having a full stop English version of this game. But there you go.
Yeah, but all in all, I think it was a really fun game for what I played of it. Like I said, I think it feels a lot more like Power Stone than Fighting Vipers, and honestly, like the vibe of it that I got, I wouldn't be surprised if the people from Cymate went over to Sega and did Power Stone afterwards.
It's possible,
but it was was dropped in '99, so it's probably not possible. Actually,
yeah, no, they would have been working on.
Yeah,
I see what you're saying though. You're saying it feels like it's related on a spiritual level or something. You know, the interesting thing too is that I would probably put this game. I would lump this game together into a group of fighters on the Saturn. That it would almost be like B fighters, you know, or like B for bizarre fighters, you know, like Astra Superstars,
like fighters,
Sunsoft game,
pretty fighters too.
Yeah, like just strange fighters. Like there's some really, because you know, like all the Capcom fighters are really solid for the most part.
Yeah.
Give or take. They all succeeded at like bringing the arcade thing home. SNK, of course, did a great job on the Saturn. You've got some like really heavy hitter fighters, but then you've got those weird ones like Waku Waku 7. You've got Astra. It's legit. It is legit. I don't deny that, but you can't also deny that it's not kind of bizarre, right? Like Galaxy Fight, Waku Waku 7, Astra Superstars, Elandori. Like if you were curating a collection of fighters, I'd probably put those into a folder together. So it was like if I had a friend over and I was like, okay, we played some Street Fighter, now let me show you some weird shit. You know, that
Japan Volume 2, am I right?
Exactly, right? That's kind of where I would put this. And it's not bad, it's just different for sure, you know? I guess you can knock your opponent off their dragon, you know, and then like continue to do damage on them and stuff like that. So the gameplay is varied, and I am impressed by like the high resolution mode. Other than that, there's not a whole lot more I can say about it.
Yeah, this also was released on the STV board. So if you want to get it for the arcade, you could play it on the arcade board. It seems very arcadey, so it would fit pretty well.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I don't know if
I'd sit down and waste quarters on it though, but that's just me.
But I can see it as being one of those things that attracts quarters, at least to start, you know. And once
exactly
people kind of get what it's all
once
about,
you realize it's complete garbage, you wasted your time.
I don't know. I feel bad. I don't want to go there. Like, I wouldn't go so far as to call it garbage, but it's just, you know, it's not going to be in my top 10.
I'm only playing.
It wouldn't even be. It wouldn't make my top 10 fighters on the Saturn, if I'm being honest. You know.
All I'm saying is, if I put quarters into the machine to play this, I don't think I'd be happy.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about this. Let's talk about the Sega Saturn Switch. Sega Saturn Switch with a question mark, and it's like we saw a sneak peek of this right a while back.
Yeah, this is posted on the guy's YouTube channel called China TZMWX.
Do you want me to play these videos for folks, like with the audio? Do you want me to play these videos? I could just mute the audio.
For it. I probably want to mute them though. They have music in the background.
I gotcha. See if I can go full screen here. Oh, that did not work.
I mean, a little bit.
Okay.
A tiny bit.
Tiny bit.
Little bit.
So yeah, there was the progress working on it. You had the Saturn portable. I think we reported on that a while back, and it was just, you know, 3D printed body with the controller kind of hacked in there.
Glued in it.
Yeah, 4 megabyte testing. Then he actually got like the full 3D printed body, which was cool. It's kind of a low res 3D print, but I mean, you know, you could sand it up, right? That's just for testing, right? Yeah. And then the most recent video, which is the one that we're all like salivating over, is this one where he actually like crammed an OSSC into a dock, kind of like a Nintendo Switch kind of deal. And so when I go full screen with this, that's all I can see. Can you? Does it stay in the column or does it fill my whole screen? I guess it
fills your whole screen.
It fills my whole screen. Like, well, I kind of want to do this for folks.
Yeah, we can do that. It just covers you up.
Okay,
so
all right.
I think it's probably good because I don't want to see you anyway. So it works well for what it is.
Oh, that's weird. You're right. It just covers me up.
Yeah, it does us all a favor and covers the unimportant host. No. But yeah, as you can see, it's a really cool concept. I'm guessing what's happening is that he's having everything routed through a specific port in the back, and when you mount it, it basically connects to the RGB connection. I don't know how safe that is. I mean, he probably has precautions in there for the OSSC.
Right.
But as you can see, the system itself actually uses it's actual hardware, and it uses a Rhea or Phoebe inside of it. And you can plug in controllers, so it reroutes the controllers, and they all work. So like even the wireless ones work.
How did he miniaturize? I mean, like there must have been a lot of board cutting going on in there, right? And like getting a Rhea and a Phoebe. I mean, that's just crazy. Yeah, he's got the two-player
it's probably
going
a lot
on.
Of probably a lot of like I said, a lot of board cutting, a lot of layering of boards.
Yeah, lots of bodge wires, lots of it probably looks like a rat's nest inside, but you know, from the outside
it looks actually pretty good.
Yeah. Cool proof of concept. It would be awesome.
I think at one point he was selling one of these, or maybe I was mistaken.
Yeah.
I could have sworn I remember seeing like a page where they're selling it.
Oh man, yeah, no, that looks awesome. I would love to have a portable Saturn, and one that is not just. I mean, frankly, I think the closest thing I'm ever gonna get to one, for any kind of reasonable price, is probably going to be some form of Mister. Once they reach that level of accuracy, you know, some form of FPGA. And I mean, this will be years from now when they're able to like miniaturize everything and get it working on that scale. That'll probably be the way to go. I mean, because as cool as this is, I mean, it's incredibly impractical to take a bunch of Saturns out of commission by cutting the boards, you know? I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer here. Like, I definitely am impressed with what he did. And I don't want to like mitigate or take anything away from that. I just don't really want a whole lot of Saturns getting chopped up out there, because it's not like we have a ton, and they're already kind of expensive, right? Saturn consoles are going up in price, and you know, if they're getting chopped up for stuff like this, like Wii's, you know, Wii's get chopped up all the time, but that's okay because, you know, there were tons of them, you know, but
it makes me wonder, like, and the thing is that this project was only meant for a show of proof of concept. Like, this isn't something that, you know, he's going to be hacking up Saturns to manufacture. This is just like
Right.
a cool project he wanted to see if they could do it.
To see if he could do it, yeah. But I definitely think
Which he did.
I definitely think that this it's a great form factor. It looks kind of like the Game Gear, about that size, and I think that it could be really cool to have one of these with an FPGA inside, doing like a 100. You know, when we get to that point where the cores are accurate, you know, I think that it would be awesome to have like a nice portable Saturn. In the
like
meantime,
a Mr. Handheld, I'd be down for that.
yeah, I mean, in the meantime, you can do if you have a beefy smartphone, you know, you can get Saturn emulation going on your phone and kind of get an experience of it. But I mean, it's kind of laggy, to be honest. It's just not quite there.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting, and I'm excited for the concept of it. Like I said, I did an initial like eyeballing of prices for it. So I guess the Saturn probably range for $50 to $100 alone. The screen is probably about another $40. The buttons for controller maybe $30. The dock is probably an easy $300. Putting it all together is probably another $300 labor. So you're looking at maybe close to like $600 to $1,000, give or take, for the entire thing if you wanted one yourself. This entire project.
Yeah.
And we don't know exactly how long it would last. Its lasting power, it's the case. But like I said, I don't even know if this is going to be an actual sellable project.
The Steam Deck.
Yeah,
they're getting Saturn emulation on Steam Deck. Nick just mentioned. Now that's what I was kind of thinking of.
Yeah, Steam Deck. I think that'd be a good option for that. I kind of want to get a Mr. Mini, like a portable Mister. That'd be kind of cool if they ever design something like that.
I'm sure they will. I mean, the Raspberry Pi took that kind of course, where it just kept getting smaller. And I know that's emulation, but I mean, I see the Mister probably getting smaller as chips get smaller and everything like that, and more like integrated.
To be honest, it's actually pretty small enough to get a handheld of that size.
True.
In it.
You could, as it is, you could build, you know, if you didn't need all those output boards and stuff like that, you could make a Mister work. Totally. I want to mention that Nick is in the chat, and he said that his NBA Jam episode is going to be longer than expected, and that is always good news for me because that's exactly, I wouldn't have it any other way. I'm looking forward to that Sunday matinee where I can just set aside like an hour or two of time for an NBA Jam expose, and he's gonna have his friend Tito.
TV just died, so I'm gonna have to wait.
I think he's going to have his sports friend on there, which I really enjoyed when he did World Series Baseball and had his friend on, you know, giving him some pointers here and there and, like, you know, opinions on that, you know, from the perspective of sports game fan. So I'm excited about this one.
I'm all for it. But yeah, like I said, keep an eye out for that Saturn Portable. I don't know if that's ever going to be a thing that you could buy. I could have sworn I saw some for sale, but maybe I was dreaming, but if there was, I'll find the link to it.
Maybe someone was just trolling you. Maybe somebody like took a picture and then just like put it up on eBay. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it was on like AliExpress though or something.
Oh, was it really? Hey, anything's possible.
I think
so. But yeah, so that's cool. And then I don't know. Do you want to move on to the Castlevania news?
No.
Okay. Well, I will.
Let's do it.
So on Sunday, last Sunday, Paul dropped a link in our SHIRO Discord, and I'm sure he dropped it elsewhere, to this new extended patch that he's been working on. He had previously been working on a patch of Castlevania Dracula X Nocturne in the Moonlight, and it was more of like enhancements, right? It was a quality of life improvements and stuff like that. It wasn't really a translation. And then this update adds several things to it. So do you want to go over what those are?
Yeah, for sure. There's definitely a lot of changes to it, and it's interesting because it's going to be the third Castlevania patch.
I know.
Because like we had the one by there was some Chinese hacker that did the 4 megabyte hack for it in the map.
Okay, so
and then we had, of course.
That wasn't Medusa then. That wasn't Team Medusa. That was just a random Chinese hacker. Sorry.
A different one.
Sorry, people who we don't know your name. But yeah, so okay, that was. Then you had Night of Dragon, right? who gave us
our very own Night of Dragon, who's in the chat right now as well.
I feel like that's where some of the confusion comes from, because there are like multiple Castlevania patches floating around the internet, and it's kind of hard to like disambiguate them all. But I know it was Night of Dragon that did I think the most significant patch, was like translate the whole game, and you know, he added a bunch of great stuff like the menu transitions and stuff like that. But yeah, okay, sorry, I totally interrupted you. So go back to the list. Tell us what we got here on Paul Metz patch.
For sure. So, and the third one, of course, is Paul Metz patch, and this one changes a couple things: the restoration of translucency on objects, English translation of some elements. So pretty much all the menus, the items, I think, are still in Japanese, and the dialogue is still in Japanese. So it's still kind of hard. I don't know if the moves are. I haven't done mega digging into it. They added a shortcut for the global map access. I think it's starting up now or something, or some button combination.
Yeah.
Finalization of the global map. Not 100% sure what that means, but like I said, dig into that. The most interesting one, restoration of the original proportions of some of the sprites, was really interesting, because I know a lot of people were kind of, I mean, the famous, like, the sprites are a little bit bigger and more squashed. So it looks like they were able to fix the proportions of it so that it looks correct compared to the PlayStation version of it.
That had something to do with Saturn's the difference in resolution, right? I know that affected the background. I know that affected the scrolling background. The difference in resolution between the Saturn and PlayStation, but yeah, I saw that he actually replaced the costume too. Like Richter's costume in the beginning is different. Yeah,
it's the costume that he's actually supposed to be canonically wearing, because in the original Castlevania, they use the original Symphony of the Night version. They use his Rondo of Blood costume, his sprite.
Right.
Probably just a placeholder that they forgot about, or they just kept in because they were lazy.
Right. Yeah.
But this one uses like the alternate ones with the cape and the whip and everything.
Exactly. And you know,
so it looks like, you know, the official one.
Okay, so you mentioned the access to Richter's alternate costume. You mentioned reduced loading time, and then support for the 4 meg expansion.
Yep. There's that, and of course, you know, for those in the skipping videos and cutscenes by the start button, which I think is pretty cool as well.
It's interesting how the game. So from my perspective, like, you'll load the game up and it'll hang there for a while with Sonic, you know, just hanging there, and it says caching data, right? So it's caching a bunch of data to the 4 meg expansion. And that does take a while, but it's a one-time thing. And then you've got that data on the 4 meg expansion, and it really helps like during the rest of the game in terms of load times, and in just terms of like how snappy the menus are and everything like that. I noticed that the transparency you were talking about, the restoration of transparency, it's different. Like it's definitely transparent, and it's not dithered. It's not mesh. It's not meshes. You know,
it actually looks like a transparent.
It does look transparent, but it still looks different than the transparency on PlayStation. You know, so it does look characteristically different. But it does also arguably look better than having meshes, you know. And they were able to restore that on the dialogue boxes as well. Transparency on the dialogue boxes, on the candles flickering in the background, all sorts of stuff. It's interesting though, because obviously they with the meshes and when they were designing the game to work with meshes, because that was their limitation, they kind of got it working, I guess, as well as they could, you know, and they got the art to work and look really good on what I imagine on a CRT, you know, and now that I'm seeing these candles flicker with the transparent, like the true transparency, it kind of looks a little jarring, because it's like on off, blinking on and off, and it's kind of distracting. I think maybe I need to look at it on like a consumer CRT. It might look better, but on a really sharp monitor, it kind of looks like a little overstated. But I mean, you know, I'm not nitpicking. I think it's great that he got the transparency back in there. I just noticed that it was something that looked a little interesting,
different than jarring, you know.
Different. Whereas the mesh, it's mesh, but it does a better job at kind of like of kind of being similar to what you got on PlayStation with transparencies insofar as how it looks. But yeah. What else? Oh, we talked to Knight actually in the chat, and I'm not putting him on the spot here or saying that he's like held down to this, but he did take a look at like the difference between the files and stuff like that, and he believes that merging these patches could be a possibility, you know. And it also turns out that a lot of the things that Paul Met was working on or planned on working on were things that Knight also intended on doing, so it might actually be a good idea, you know, to just like save time and you work together or something, or merge the patches into
I mean, yeah, because I know Knight already has the translations and stuff in the game, and the scrolling translation. So I mean, that could just adding that into there, and it would probably be good to go on top of some of the other elements, because they have overlapping elements such as the removal of the menu 480i resolution switch. So there's a few differences in things that got changed out.
Yeah, there were a few things that were a little buggy, like offset certain assets that were like
kind of offset weirdly.
Yeah, and I think that was just Knight was just saying that was a bug, or at least he thought it was a bug.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, I think it's great. It's great news. People should feel free to download it. There's a link here that we included. It just links you to Paul Met's page, and honestly, I think that if you guys are interested in helping out, find bugs and report them to him, I'm sure he would appreciate that, because that's going to be more helpful at this point. I don't think that this is really just like, you know, totally ready to go and done. You know, he's still working on it, but this is definitely progress. And so if folks are interested in getting in there and just taking a look at it and reporting any bugs that they find back to him, I'm sure that that could be helpful.
Yeah, for sure. And I think overall, I'm really impressed with all these patches and all these options that we have for playing Castlevania Symphony of the Night. And it's just crazy how just one game has 3 different patches. Like,
yeah,
I don't think there's any other Saturn game that has that much variety of patching the game.
There's going to be another hot release of this. Get it? Release? You know, like a world premiere release of this on some unnamed group.
Yeah. They already dropped it. Anyways,
did they?
I said, yeah. But yeah, like I said, I think this is amazing. I'm really happy for all the people involved. I think Knight's in the chat. Did you want to say anything about this patch or anything?
Let's see. Well, first of all, the first hacker is YZB.
YZB, okay, yeah.
YZB, yeah. The Paul's patch does a phenomenal job compared to that one. Like you mentioned, the 4 megabyte extension, that's all done in the beginning instead of during load times, and it actually does improve quality in game. You could see it. Outside of that, when it comes to translation, I haven't talked to Paul about it yet, but at the bare minimum, I could probably get a supplemental patch to go where you would patch his and then patch an additional one. Like, it's not going to be just, oh, load Paul's, load mine, we're good to go. Because we both have different approaches to our quality of life improvements.
Right.
So it's not going to be a one-to-one. But from looking at it, the way he kept the code, the way that Konami keeps it, instead of having to rewrite everything like the YZB patch, I could just separate out my text patches from my quality of life patches, and then people can just pop in, choose whatever they want, choose whatever font style they want, and just go at it. But other than that, yeah, when he dropped that onto us, I was really excited. I was like, oh, this is awesome. Just getting the news out there is right before Halloween, so people have something to do. Outside of that, I really don't have much to say on this. I haven't had too much time to play it, but like you guys said, it definitely helps if more people play and point out things, because the game itself is large, and I just from working on myself, I know he didn't have the time or whatever to go through every single stage and every single instance with every single character to find where things are misaligned, broken, where transparencies are goofed. So yeah, the more people he has playing it, the better this patch could be.
Yeah, so Yeah, I would love to see, and I definitely hear you. Like, you've already done some of the stuff you've done is already overlapped, you know. So it's really just a matter of finding what what assets or what things that he did that could be added to yours to make like the ultimate patch, or if you just had like you're committed to a path, if you're committed to a path where you're gonna just do that stuff yourself, I could understand that as well. But either way, I definitely think that we could be looking at like the Saturn version of the game going from kind of like being a redheaded stepchild to like being, hey, like able to contend quite handily with the PlayStation version,
or being the definitive version,
or being even going so far as it being the definitive version. I don't know if I would go that far, but who knows, maybe. I don't know if it's possible to get those backgrounds, that shimmering thing or whatever. You know how like the pixels are not perfectly square, they're kind of stretched on the Saturn version. I don't know if there's ever a way to fix that, like,
I think he said he actually did fix that.
Like, he did fix that. Not just with the sprites, but also with the back.
I'm pretty sure the only thing that he changed when I was talking to him, I could be wrong, but this is what I got out of it, was a lot of the portraits. Like the portrait images, they're all now the size of the PlayStation 1. But the sprites themselves are still the same size, and the backgrounds are still the same size.
Right. Yeah, and that might not be able to be helped.
That he restored the proportions of the explosion and the smoke sprites.
Mm-hmm.
Sprites of icons, additional weapons and hearts. So there's a couple things. So I think it's only like but he said that he restored the proportions of the sprites of trees, bushes, and grass in the background of some locations. So I think some is the keyword. So maybe it might be a thing where he's working on it. So you got some of it, but not all of it, which is fine. Yeah, anything is better than nothing at this point.
Absolutely. I mean, every little improvement brings it that much closer to being on par with the PlayStation version or even like the definitive version. And I love to see that. But yeah, Shadow Mask is saying it would be awesome to see a proper integer scale. I agree, but that just might not be possible due to the discrepancy in resolutions. Since it was like ported over. But yeah, we'll see. In the meantime, go check this out. Go check out this patch from Team Medusa. Paul, is he just doing this as Paul Met or as Team Medusa?
He releases Team Medusa.
Always. Okay, yeah. So Medusa team or whatever. Go check it out and enjoy it, and let us know what you think.
Exactly.
And definitely let him know what you think too.
Huh?
I just said let him know what you think too. I'm sure he'll want to know if you guys have any feedback, especially regarding any bugs you find.
Yeah. I think that's about it. Did we want to? I think there's a recent video we want to talk. At least I want to talk about is the one about Shenmue on Saturn.
Oh, okay, yeah. Are you talking about the Lady Decade?
It's like Lady Decade, I think. Is that her name?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So yeah, I've had a lot of that, and I haven't been able to watch the full video yet, but I know that that was released, and a lot of people have been talking about Shenmue on the Saturn, which I think is kind of interesting. I know that we've always talked about that a little bit, and we did an article how long ago was that? Was that a couple months ago? We did that article on
it would have been
that project. Was
this a recent video? Was this like a brand new video?
Yeah, I think she dropped it a couple days ago.
Oh, okay, all right. I haven't caught it yet. I haven't been able to watch it because I've been too busy this week. But yeah, I'll definitely check it out. I can't comment on it because I haven't watched it. But I do know that. Go ahead.
All I just want to say is that I just want to bring people's attention that that was released, and I haven't been able to watch a lot of it, but it was pretty good from what I've seen. I know a lot of people. It brought more to the conversation, made more people aware of it, which I think is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of people, didn't know about that, and I mean, we don't have the biggest reach. So I think it's really cool that we get more people talk about it and Project Berkeley in general.
Mm-hmm. There were. I know that on her Sissy, I haven't watched it yet, so I don't even know. She may mention it this time, but I commented on one of her videos because she did a couple videos back. She was doing the whole 64X or whatever, you know, like the add-on expansion card to the Saturn, you know. And there were, you know, she was using terms like black belt and like katana and all that stuff, you know, but there was never any mention of Guppy, Project Guppy. And I mean, it really is like, since Sega for their 60th released that whole video about their hardware history, and they mention it specifically, and then also Yu Suzuki mentions it, and he mentions it in his keynote, and even has it like written there. And he was really, you know, referring to, and there are several places where he refers to Guppy as like the hardware expansion that was intended for Virtua Fighter 3, you know. And then of course it became kind of just, it kind of blew up into the Project Guppy, which was like the Shenmue software. And then of course when it at the point where it transitioned over to the Dreamcast hardware, then it became Project Berkeley, because it was a whole new game and everything. But I mean, and we talked about that in the article that we wrote, and I mean, we gave citations, and we also showed, like with his keynote slides, it literally writes it out, you know. Project Guppy was the old man in the peach tree, and all that, and then Project Berkeley was, you know, Shenmue on the Dreamcast as we know it moving forward. So and yeah, I think she is Top Hat's wife, to Nick asking that question. I believe that she is. Like
the Top Hat Gaming Man.
Top Hat Gaming Man, yeah. I think they were like sweethearts or something like that. They go way back. But I believe that she is, and they're kind of like a duo. Cool, they're a dynamic duo, a husband and wife team. You know, Saturn. Well, like all consoles, she does like all sorts of stuff.
Yeah. I thought they're more Sega though, but I could be wrong.
But anyway, I need to watch the video because I need to see if maybe she went back and you know, like did some research on it and could speak to that a little bit. Maybe she has some extra research that I haven't been able to find. But definitely, it was my understanding that they were kind of working on it on both sides in terms of like an expansion for the Saturn. But but Yu Suzuki, really, his team was only ever working with the Japanese side of things as far as expansion went, you know, and that was Project Guppy. But anyway, yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to look at it, and I will let you know what I think next week after I watch it.
Yeah, it was a good video from what I've watched of it. I need to sit down and watch the full thing. I've been pretty busy myself. I just thought it was interesting. I thought it was important to bring to the fans, and I thought it's really cool just to have people talk about it and sort of engage with it. So if you haven't checked it out, I think Lady Decade is her name. Lady
Decade, yeah. But speaking of YouTubers, who are your favorite YouTubers these days? For this kind of content,
for this content specifically, or for anything in general? Because I have a lot of different.
Well, like okay, yeah. Let's yeah, that's true. I mean, there's YouTube is a giant grab bag of content, but I mean, for video game related content, who are your favorite YouTubers that you could recommend to folks?
I really enjoyed Phoenix Resale. I know he's more of like a reselling video games and like collecting.
Right.
But I think it's really interesting. Trying to think what else I watch video game related. You know, I don't watch too many video game related stuff. I usually watch, like, I think I'm like Sam in terms of watching stuff like video production and just different like documentary style stuff, like a lot. But in terms of video stuff, of course, everyone we recommend, you know, Sega Lord X. Lady Decade, I heard Retro Faith. I think she follows us, and I think she's been putting out a lot of good content as well.
She's hardcore Sega.
Channel or not.
She does. I'm pretty sure she does. Well, she has a Twitch, and I believe she has a YouTube channel. But I know she's hardcore Sega.
Yeah, so she makes some great content. And
we couldn't. I mean, we'd be remiss if we didn't mention Nick, obviously.
Yeah, and of course the SSG. Can't forget him.
SSG. You know, I'm sure that he'll be back to doing content at some point when he's ready. And when he does, you know it's going to be great, you know. Are you into? Do you ever watch like the Coding Secrets stuff that John Burton does?
Yeah, I watched a little bit of that. That's interesting. Of course, I'm starting to get more into DF Retro.
Oh yeah, so DF Retro
content.
Yeah, I mean,
honestly, I didn't watch it at first. Retronauts, of course.
Retronauts for podcast stuff. Do you watch like Jeremy Parrish's like his Famicom stuff that he puts up, or like the Segaiden?
I honestly don't think I have. I have to watch more of that.
Yeah, it's definitely dry. It's like it's not for everybody, but I mean he goes like way in depth for sure. You know, I don't know. I just thought I'd ask you. I didn't know, you know, if you watch like a lot of video game related stuff or could recommend stuff, you know.
There's Hard for Games. They're pretty good.
Hard for Games is great.
I love.
Yeah, My Life in Gaming is great. I love Hard for Games. I mean, I'm a hardware guy, so I love that channel. You know, anytime they're, you know, showing off like some rare, you know, 3DO expansion card, or they're showing off like the DD drive or something like that, you know. But I like Cathode Ray Dude. Cathode Ray Dude, he just does.
He's really good. I like.
He's
his
really
stuff.
good. He does a lot of cool stuff, you know. And it's kind of video game. Not all of it is video gamey, but you know, he did that thing about the getting online, you know, with a modem in 2021.
That's
you know.
cool.
I
like it. I don't know if it's also Technology Connections.
Oh yeah, Technology Connections is phenomenal. Now I don't really consider him like video game related either, but I mean, I could watch him talk about a microwave for an hour. You know, like he he
has some good stuff.
Yeah, he does. I recommend.
Yeah, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I guess my last one is Oddity Archive. It's not really video game related, but I love his videos.
Oddity Archive. I will have to look him up. I don't.
He does a lot of like obscure things, like a lot of. I think he did the Laser Active. He covered the VHS video game system, and he does a lot of like old Duck and Cover content, TV hijackings. Go watch him. But what about you? What are your
say it again?
Oddity Archive.
The Oddity Archive. I will check that out.
I'll put a link in the general chat once we're done here.
Yeah. So I don't know if folks follow Adam Korlick. You know, he does some cool. He mostly does pickup videos these days. No offense, but that's just kind of what his channel has turned into. A lot of times he does go to like conventions and stuff, and he's able to get some like rare, you know, coverage of some interesting thing, you know. But for the most part, they're pickup videos. But he does do a really good job of kind of like breaking things down. He's been doing videos for a decade or more, so I have to recommend him. Blaine Locklear, nice guy. He was on a couple of the groups that we were involved in, and he's always doing like videos on like, here's how you can hack your PlayStation 2, here's how you can hack your PS4, or this, that, and the other thing. And he does like really good like dummy tutorials. Like he makes it super easy for you. So I recommend him. There's a channel called Blast Processing that's cool that I would check out. Stray Fox, you know, they do those making of Sega making ofs, which I think are excellent. So check that out. Who else? I mean, we gotta say, you know, Sega Lord X is one of our favorites. He's been, you know, at it now for over half a decade, and he does some great stuff, mostly like top 10 lists. And he's recently broken off into doing like reviews about singular games, and I really like that because that way you get a little bit more of his opinion on that specific game. But you know, I always feel like his content is very high quality and easy to recommend.
Yeah, one person that we have to shout out that gives us so much shouts out is Games Re-Up.
Games Re-Up, yeah. That's a new one for me. Yeah. So Games Re-Up. You know, Slopes is fun for, you know, I love how Slopes is always doing like those controversy topics like the Indiegogo scams and stuff like that. Usually related to gaming, you know.
Yeah, he's pretty good. I'm trying. Larry Bundy Jr., of course.
Yes, Larry Bundy Jr. Sam turned me on to Thor High Heels. He's a guy who does like streams, and he does, you know, other you know, he not just Saturn related stuff, all sorts of stuff. But Thor High Heels and Wild Potato Industries are both guys that do a lot of Saturn related content. I would be remiss if I didn't mention Wrestles with Gaming. I love Yahail. Is it Yahail? Or I forget how to say his name, but he does those documentaries kind of like Nick does. Really, really detailed game doc.
The X-Band one, oh my god.
Oh my god. Yeah, it's one of my favorite. The Catapult game. Catapult and the X-Band, that thing is awesome. I don't know, there's just so many great channels that I feel like folks should check out. If you guys are into like modding Sega consoles, fixing them, getting your hands dirty with mods and stuff like that, or RGB modding CRTs, check out the Sega Holic. and then Segaholic, one word. He's this Hawaiian dude who I got confused with Kay actually a long time ago when I thought like Kay and he were like the same person, and Kay was like, no, I live in Oregon. But he's like a Hawaiian dude who like he knows a ton about the Saturn, and he's got a huge collection, and he takes apart, he buys like cheap broken Saturns off eBay and then like fixes them up to pristine condition and stuff. So I think those are really great. And then Stika, of course, our friend from Portugal. Folks should check out Stika. That's ST1KA. He'll give you a lot of great Sega related content, and then and often from a Portuguese perspective. But
exactly.
yeah,
I think there's a couple.
I don't know. There's a ton more. There's a ton more. But what do you got?
Yeah, there's so many. Jiggle 85.
Oh yeah, Tom Jiggle 85. He did the music for the Bulk Slash thing, right? He's working on like redoing the music for Bulk Slash. He streams. He has a Twitch, I think. He streams on Twitch.
A lot of that good content.
Yeah. Modern Vintage Gamer. You into MVG? Oh, Retro RGB. Yeah, Bob. And then Modern Vintage Gamer. I don't know if you're into him.
Yeah, I like Modern Vintage Gamer's videos. He has a good mono. I guess I wouldn't say monotone, but a very straightforward Australian accent. It's like, all right, mate.
Yeah.
Here's the Saturn.
Is the Saturn?
I don't know how to do an Australian accent. Just pretend I'm Australian.
Oh, Genovi.
Replace my
we
voice
didn't even
with his.
we have Genovi on our slides at the beginning. I'm starting to think of like people who are not like in our really close inner circle. But yeah, Genovi. I mean, we have to. I'm looking at my list here. I'm looking at my list of like.
There's so many.
There are just so many great content creators. But yeah, when you were talking about Lady Decade, I was like, you know, we have time. We ought to talk about like some of the folks that we like to watch and stuff like that. I do. I admit I have a lot more non-game related YouTube channels that I subscribe to than game related stuff. But I mean, for those that create good content out there, definitely they deserve to be shared.
Yeah.
Game Dave.
And if you want people that inspired me to make that inspired us to do SHIRO, or at least inspired me to want to do podcasting, Mega 64 and Dreamcast Junkyard, biggest two.
Cool. The Dream Pod.
Yeah.
I know that was a big inspiration for me too. And actually there was an old British podcast that I don't think they do it anymore, but it was called Retro Collect. And they were one of my favorite podcasts back in like the 2000s, and they talked about Saturn a lot, you know. And they were huge Saturn fans, so they were a big inspiration to me to like want to do like a Saturn podcast. So like when we were messaging each other and saying, hey, do you want to do a Saturn podcast? I was like, heck yeah, because there's nothing going right now, you know, for it. Everybody, like the few folks that were doing it, like did it for a while and then quit.
It's just us in the Saturn Junkyard keeping the dream alive.
Yeah, for sure.
Keeping it alive. But yeah, I think that's about it. I guess before we go, let's shout our patrons. Thank God I didn't forget that.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead and shout the patrons.
Patrons. I'm getting the list up right here. I'm sorry, guys. I suck at my job. Please.
It's okay. I feel that way today too. Today's an off day for me. It just doesn't. I'm just tired, and it's been a long week. So if I'm dragging on this in post, I apologize.
Yeah, all right. So shouts out for our patrons: Cwen, Emerald Nova, 32-bit stuff, Momdu, and Super Dimension Century Orgus. Thank you very much. I think Derek A Team's in the tier as well.
Mm-hmm.
So so Derek A Team, of course, shout him out. But yeah, if you want to be shouted on the podcast, definitely back us on Patreon. Patreon.com/SHIRO Media Group. That's patreon.com/SHIRO Media Group. So yeah, if you want to support us but don't want to back us on Patreon, definitely check out our awesome shirt designs on below on our Threadless store on the website.
Mm-hmm.
You can also support us non-financially by of course sharing out our stuff, liking, subscribing, ringing the bell, commenting, yelling at us, joining our Discord discussion, whatever you want to do to interact with us in some way or another, or like talk to us or insult, whatever you want to do. Insult, love, hate, I don't care. Just do that, and that benefits us to some degree, either through entertainment or criticism. Because if it's like good criticism, I'll be like, yeah, I agree, maybe I'll fix that. Or if it's bad criticism,
you'll just be like,
I'll probably still fix that if it's that bad. But but yeah. like I said, that's all. That's all.
Oh,
all
I forgot to
you,
mention.
Dave?
I forgot to mention Jason's channel. He does the streaming every Saturday night. He does the Saturn streaming.
Jason Steele, Film
Yeah,
Cow.
Film Cow. Because
Yeah,
he
check
doesn't
him out. We'd love to have him on a podcast.
he doesn't come up to my mind as like a game channel per se, but he does Saturn streaming every Saturday night. So like definitely gotta recommend him too. No, to what you were saying before is just like we love this community. Every one of you guys, 17 people in the chat watching right now. You guys are the dedicated few. Go spread the word. Maybe we can get it up to like 30 by the next decade or something. I don't know. But anyway, you guys, we appreciate you. Yeah, and like Pat said, just come join our Discord chat and chat with us. We're not cool. We're not special. We're just like
We're
you.
not cool. We're not cool.
We are just Saturn fans. We are
cool.
just Saturn fans. Just like you, and we just want to talk about Saturn and chill. So, oh, well, Knight is cool. He says he's cool, so I'll take his word for it.
Well, I mean, I thought you just meant me and you. Just out of us, we're not cool.
No, we're not. No, I actually watch a guy named Real Breaking Nate. He's a Pokemon trading card guy, you know, and that's his whole slogan is so not cool, and I relate to that. I'm like, yeah, I don't want to be cool. I just want to be myself, you know, based. And but I will say that, you know, get into our Discord chat and just Discord with us.
Discord it up. Do the Discord thing.
For sure. Until next time, be playing your Sega Saturn.
Playing it. Peace.
What are you gonna stream? You're gonna stream something today, right? You want people to stick around, right?
I'm gonna stream Sakura Wars with Sewen in like 5 seconds or 10 seconds or 30 seconds. 30 seconds. Gonna stream that with Sewen.
Yeah, we're already overdue. I need to like stop this stream so that you can do it. Cool. All right, so folks, if you want to see Pat streaming and talking and chatting and vibing, then just stick around. And if not, then I will see you next week. And until next time, Sega Saturn SHIRO. Peace out.
Alright, welcome everybody to the awesome stream. I guess, well, the last one is pretty awesome too, but you know what I'm saying. Welcome to the gameplay section of the stream. If you can hear us, you can hear us. If you can't, that kind of sucks, but hopefully you can. But welcome, we are playing the infamous, I just didn't say infamous, the really good Sakura Wars for the Sega Saturn, the first one. For those that don't know, this is a dating sim slash RTS slash other strategy game, I guess.
It's just everything.
It's everything. Everything in general.
I'd say it's a strategy RPG and adventure novel.
Exactly. It's all the above, cut the cord. But no, basically it's this amazing game by Red Company, who I think later just folded into Sega, I think. I don't know if they just kept Red Company. I think this became Sega or whatever, some weird division name. I could be wrong, I usually am.
Red got bought out by a Chinese company, but most of the team that worked at Red jumped over to Sega to do Valkyria Chronicles afterwards.
Oh wow, holy crap, I didn't know that. That's actually kind of cool. So yeah, if you want to semi Sakura Wars Valkyria Chronicles, guys, that's kind of cool actually. So yeah, so we're playing some Sakura Wars. Don't we get this started? We got some pretty cool
Becky, you
people
should
here.
join us.
Yeah, join us in the chat. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you love, what you hate. Let us know everything. But yeah, we are here with Native Dragon and Seawen, with Seawen in particular, who is working on the Game Boy, version of Sakura Wars. Well, the Game Boy game of Sakura Wars. It's not a version of it; it's a different game altogether. Oh, and we also got Trekkies here that I believe also worked on Sakura Wars as well. So welcome, Trekkies.
Yeah, I did the FMV subtitles and the mini games and the title screen menu.
Fair enough. Looks good. I liked it. I like the title screen. Good stuff. But yeah, I guess we'll start off by asking Seawen about his project that he's working on. You want to talk a little bit about your Game Boy project you're working on for Sakura Wars?
Yeah, so Sakura Wars GB, it takes place in between chapters 4 and 5 of this first game, and you're playing as an original character, basically as yourself. Then you got recruited into the Imperial Assault Troop. So you're training for a whole month to try and become as good enough as possible to be the next captain of either this squad or maybe your own squadron.
Interesting. Yeah, I think you were telling me a little about it on the last show, and I thought it was very, very interesting, the concept of it, because it's technically in the canon of this first game, right?
Right. It's basically soft canon because it doesn't really contradict anything that happens in the first or the second game. And actually it fills up a plot hole from the second game, the sequel at least. GB2 fills up a plot hole of the second mainline Sakura Wars game.
Interesting. That's actually really cool to hear. Even though we have not been able to get a translation of the second one, it's cool we have some sort of thing to hold us over until we get that translation. If we do, I'm not pushing anybody to do it. Just saying.
So since the Game Boy game is you personally, did they make the role gender neutral?
So in the first GB game, it is specifically a male player character, but then in the second GB game, they sort of retcon it. I believe you can choose your gender.
See, now the thing you need to do is you need to port the Game Boy games to the Game Gear.
Oh man, that'd be hard to do because Game Boy Colors is.
They can do a bit more colors, I think.
Yeah.
You'll have to add colors to it. Get like a pencil.
Because Sakura Wars GB has art. I don't think the Game Gear could handle because they do like 1-to-1 8-bit recreations of multiple scenes of the main game.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Did you say there's also voice samples in the Game Boy game as well?
Right. So this is a 4 megabit game, and approximately a third to just under a half of the game is just really compressed voice samples. And what we found is that there's cut content where the endings of the games are fully voiced, and we're gonna work to see if we can restore that to a point.
Oh, intriguing! I'm interested to see how that turns out. Maybe we can get some good stuff, and maybe since it's not going to be on a Game Boy cartridge, you guys could squeeze it out and fit it on like an actual fit all the samples on without any issues of space issues. So like what they did for the
already on
games.
The samples are in the cartridge. It's just that you can't access them.
Awesome. So
Pat, is this version 2.0 or is this the older version?
Honestly, I think it's 2.0, but I could be wrong.
Well, if you let Sakura talk, we'll know. No, you're on version 1.
Why's that?
If you're on version 2, her lips will move in sync with the voice.
Okay. Yeah, I guess
we fixed that.
Gotcha. My bad. I thought I could just want to put 2 on here. I must have fudged it when I was moving stuff over. So my bad. I don't think there's anything game breaking in the first one, anyways, right? It's just like
no, it's just there's more polish in version 2. So like we got the lip flaps moving like they're supposed to be moving. We fixed the glitchy graphics in the battle parts, that kind of stuff.
Fair enough.
Oh, and then the Hanafuda tournament at the end of the game is translated.
Oh, nice. Well, no worries. If we continue playing this, I'll make sure. I'm pretty sure we're not going to be able to reach that spot in the stream. So, worst case, I'll just switch out for the next one, and then we can just play that instead. The 2.0 one instead.
I found when I was testing out the 2.0 patch before release, the lip flaps seemed really inconsistent with when they happened. Like, of course, like normal text boxes, they would work just fine. But in other places, like sometimes they would move, and sometimes the game would decide not to. I think that was just design of the original game.
Well, so it's basically how they work is if you just like hit the button real quick, it's just going to stop doing them and just move the text as fast as it possibly can, because they're tied to the text draw routine. So like in the Japanese version, like each character is a syllable. So basically, it just matches as it prints one character. It's a next lip movement to go with it. So what we had to do is, because the English text takes up more characters or sometimes less characters than the Japanese, we had to basically work it into it so it kind of still worked. And in many cases, what will end up happening is when the lip flaps are done moving, it'll still like keep printing some text afterwards. And it's just, there's really like no way to work around it.
Feel ya? Yeah, but yeah, when this just came out, I remember I was super excited when this dropped. It just was like incredible, and I remember I think I rushed out to play this, and I stayed up like a night, like a straight day, just to make that video that was on the SHIRO channel. I think it's one of our most popular ones as well, which was pretty surprising, because I wouldn't expect that much fanfare to come out of a game that's this obscure in nature.
Well, I mean, Sakura Wars is obscure, but then at the same time, it's not obscure. Like, anyone who knows, like, the Saturn was popular in Japan, they know about Sakura Wars.
Right,
Yeah.
and I've always been told that the anime was at least moderately popular back when it came out in America in, like, the late 90s.
Yeah, it had subtitled at least VHS tapes released here. I don't think the Laserdiscs got released here, but I know the VHS tapes did.
Yeah,
they got DVDs around that time, I think.
Yeah, they had the DVDs and the dubs on VHS. So at least we had some dubs of it, which was kind of interesting. They made some definitely interesting choices with the voices of it, which I thought was kind of cool. But I do think it's also funny that that the Sakura Wars 2019 anime, or I guess 2020 anime, actually has a dub for it, while the game does not have a dub. I think it's kind of funny. So it's
probably just a difference between licensing, I'd imagine.
I was reading an interview with some Sega of America people, and they were talking about how when they were localizing the 2019 game, they had to make a choice. Either they could have had English dub for the 2019 game, or they could do subs for French, German, and Spanish, I believe. So they went with multi-language support.
That's fair enough. I think a lot of people prefer the subs anyways, but I think having an option would be kind of cool. And if you really want to know what the interpretation is like, Funimation on their streaming app has the entirety of the Sakura Wars 2020 anime. It's technically a sequel, so it's recommended that you actually beat the game before you watch the sequel series. It's really short. It's only about 26 episodes, but again, you have to really play the game, the 2020 game, to be able to really watch it without spoiling a lot. But to be honest, there's not a lot of spoilers. There's just like a little bit here and there, but it does technically take place after the events of the first Sakura Wars game. The 2020 Sakura Wars game on PS4. I'm sorry.
Well, and one thing that's related is if I can get a trailer done for the Symphony of the Night patch, I should be able to finish up that demo disc I was going to do last year for the competition. And the one thing we have in that is the translated Tokyo Game Show demo of the first Sakura Wars.
Oh, nice. Did you end up getting the video for that from Peter?
Yeah, I got some of it, and then I was going to try and record some of my own and put it together. Yeah, the Tokyo Game Show, basically all the data for it was there in the game. It just needed a flag or two set to make it load into it.
Huh, fair enough. I'm excited. It's going to be pretty cool. Yeah, Starblade asked who you picking. I made bias, but Koran is best. That's my 2 cents. I kind of like what's her name, the one that I'm talking to right now. I forgot what her name was, but she's
Sumire?
technically one of the lead. Huh?
Talk about Sumire?
Yeah, Sumiri. I like her mostly because she's in the second one, the latest one, and she's actually pretty boss in that one.
Mm-hmm.
Sumire is hard mode.
Yeah. I want to be
mean,
rude to her.
What you have to say to get like her to like you makes like everyone else hate you, basically.
Makes sense.
Yeah. She's heard it all from all the other guys, so you gotta find something unique to say to her. I managed to romance her in my playthrough, but it was challenging.
Yeah. I think I just like being rude to her, but it is kind of funny how her personality changes from this game all the way to the 2020 version of it, because I think she's more mature and more understanding, while she does still have some of her stubbornness, which I kind of like.
GB is really hard to play if you're a Sumire fan, because she hasn't gotten her character growth arc yet, so she's still really mean to you and really just like an overall a-hole to everybody. Like there's one sequence where she basically mentions that she still really hates Sakura to the point where the color pink makes her sick.
Oh, interesting. That's kind of sad. But yeah, it's kind of silly. I think Starblade. I think I did see your Koran collection. Did you I think you posted on Reddit, right? I think I remember seeing that actually. Let me know if that's true or not. If not, whoever has another Koran collection, that's cool. She's the German one, right?
She's Chinese.
Chinese? Oh, what was I thinking of?
I don't think the German one gets the German one. I think is Sakura Wars 2. That's Rennie or Lenny, depending on how you translate it.
Yeah,
okay,
Rennie.
but she's the purple haired girl, the one that blows up in the intro, right?
Yeah, Koran's the purple hair girl.
Yeah, I think they gave her a German.
Maria is Russian.
Yeah, I think they gave her a German accent in the dub. That's why I thought she was German. That's why I was a bit confused on that. So yeah, no, I did see that collection. That was pretty bomb, Starblade. I was like, dang. At least I was in a post. I know who Best Girl is, but I think I ended up not posting. I usually do that with Reddit. I see stuff and I comment, and I forget to submit and just leave. But that's pretty bomb collection. I would definitely, if are you on our Discord at all, Starblade? If you're not, go post your collection there because I want to see it again. So go do that, please.
Yeah. I have to say, doing GB made me have a really big appreciation for Maria now. I don't know. I think she was probably the author's favorite, because they went a lot into trying to characterize her more.
Fair enough. Which one's Maria again? I'm really bad with names on this one.
Right?
The one you're talking to right now.
Oh, the Russian one. Okay, gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus. I forgot they do. Why are you doing that? No. Also, I don't remember talking to her in the first time I played it. Is it like different options? Get like you talk to different people? Because I could have sworn I talked to the French girl before.
I don't know. It's not.
Maybe I might have been mistaken.
No, these are about the ones you always talk to.
Okay, I might have just been mistaken.
Chapter, it's basically Sakura first, then you meet Iris, then you meet Sumire, then you meet Maria.
Did I just skip over Iris because I don't remember talking to her at all?
She was there.
You were talking to her.
Oh, did I really just like zone out there? I don't even remember talking to her at all.
We were talking to us, and we were talking about. I think we were talking about the TGS demo.
Oh, fair enough. Sorry about that, guys. But yeah, I think I like Iris a lot just because she's like a really cute sister figure. So I thought I really like her a lot in terms of the characters in the game. I say because it reminds me of my little sister almost, so it's kind of like a cute thing, you know.
I think the strangest
it's one of those
thing
things where like a lot of people like to say like they're like, oh, Iris, creepy like pedo alert, where it's kind of more like a brother doting on a sister relationship.
Yeah, it's kind of like in the new game with the one ninja girl.
Yeah, Azami.
Azami. I think Azami actually is one of my favorite in the 2020.
I think the strangest thing is I remember about 7 months ago, I was driving in the parking lot of my local Costco. I saw a little girl dressed up exactly like Iris, frilly dress, pink, the pink bow, blonde hair, holding a teddy bear. I didn't think this type of person was still around. She looked about the age. I thought that type of person was like extinct.
Did you see if she did any psychic bullshit? Like lift stuff off the shelves?
She was floating in the air, but I think it was because her parents were lifting her up.
Oh,
did you blow up a silent movie theater?
Well, there aren't any silent movie theaters around in Florida anymore, so possibly.
Hey, we found the extinction. But yeah, like, did you? But I guess speaking of Soccer Wars, did you guys play the 2020 version yet?
I have it. I just haven't gotten around to it yet.
I got about 4 bosses in. I thought it's okay. It's not my favorite, but it's fine. It's a fine enough game.
Yeah, I really did not like the combat as much as I did in the previous games, but I really love the story of it. Like, all the characters were pretty fantastic.
My issue with it is that you're only playing as like one person at a time versus a team. You have to pick up 3 every time.
Yeah, it's like a
I think the best way to modify that would be in a potential Soccer Wars 7 would be taking the gameplay of Battalion Wars, where you keep the strategy aspect where you tell your troops where to go, but then you can also just jump in.
You just switch on the fly.
Exactly.
And like while you're not doing that, an AI takes over.
Exactly. Yep. Precisely.
That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, that or just go back to the strategy aspect. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
One thing
in an interview, Sega was saying that their market research or whatever was saying that action games are probably the best way of getting like a bigger audience, which I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what they were claiming.
Yeah, and I remember one I saw where they said they wanted to make something that kind of felt more like what the intro to Soccer Wars 3 looks like.
Fair enough. I'm just surprised they didn't go with the Valkyria Chronicles route. I think that probably would be the best route to take the game in, because I think it would have that dynamic and just using that engine. But my thinking is that they probably reused an engine and just for production's sake, just put that over it, and then maybe that was their excuse.
Well, Soccer Wars 6 uses the Hedgehog engine from the one that they use in Sonic Forces, so...
Huh.
Well, the Hedgehog engine gets a lot of use. That's what Phantasy Star Online 2 uses.
Oh.
Isn't that engine pretty old at that point?
It's been upgraded a couple times. It's like on version 2 or 3 now.
I gotcha.
But it's basically really what that engine is. What it started as was a graphics streaming engine. So it was made for like Sonic Unleashed, and what it does is because remember like Sonic 06, the big thing it had, like of all the other problems it had, one of the big bad ones it had was like the horrible load times. So like what the Hedgehog engine does to work around that is it keeps streaming data off the disk as you're playing.
Huh.
So yeah, that's where it kind of starts as, and it just kind of grew from there, I guess. Yeah, I know PSO2 uses it, and I guess from what he said, the new Soccer Wars uses it. It's a very versatile engine, apparently.
Interesting. Yeah, so I'm just kind of surprised that they didn't use the Valkyria Chronicles one instead, but maybe, like I said, maybe they just want to make it more actiony, and that's just the excuse they used on that.
Yeah. I always joke that Valkyria Chronicles 4 died in its mediocrity to give Soccer Wars another chance.
Oof. Did Valkyria Chronicles 4 actually do that badly?
I think it did. It's like a drop in the ocean. Just came and went. I really didn't like it that much.
I played it at E3 in 18, and it was pretty fun.
Well, I mean, putting like 2 of the sequels on the PSP and then not releasing them didn't help anything.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. I don't know why they didn't do that. They didn't do like a re-release of it.
That said, I really want to go back and play the fan translation of Valkyria Chronicles 3 because I've heard that one's actually pretty decent.
Oh, is there fan translations for that one?
I didn't know there was one. I knew 2 got an official one, but I didn't know 3 got one. It's fan translation.
Yeah, it's been translated for probably 5 years or so.
Oh,
and
okay.
It's a major improvement from how Valkyria Chronicles 2 does it. I remember they fixed a lot of the issues.
Yeah, the one like The only PSP one that I was really following was the Phantasy Star Portable 2 Infinity, which that one got recently finished.
I'm surprised the PSP has a lot of fan translation stuff going on.
There's a fair amount. It's a lot of RPGs.
Yeah, the PSP is a pretty like open system that people figured out back like around what 2004, 2005.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to load like the images on there nowadays. So it's like
yeah. I mean, it was easy back when it came out too.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those things where it just has had a more like mature developer pool to play with.
I feel like this is like an underground. It's like an underground community of which just we don't know anything about. There's so many of them that you would think that they'd be more. The people would be easier to find.
Well, I mean, like just to point like how open it was. Like there was a couple years ago, I was I forget. It might have been a flea market I was at, and there was just like or it was either that or Goodwill I was at. There was a section of just like used books, and there was like a $5 like developing for the PSP book, and it was all just like how to get like the fan like open source homebrew libraries and get started in programming for the PSP. It's like, and that was like an official like not an official book, but like an actual like book that got published and was sold in bookstores kind of thing.
Oh, yeah, but no, it's kind of interesting just the way the PSP. Like, I still use the PSP to this day to, like, just. Let's open the logo real quick. I still use the PSP to this day as like an emulator on planes. Like, I have the entirety of the Game Boy and Game Boy Advance library. I know it'll change when the Advance Pocket comes out, but it's a really good Game Boy and Game Boy Advance emulator. Mostly so I can play Yu-Gi-Oh! Forbidden Memories on it. But yeah.
I still use mine too, and every now and then, just for kicks and giggles, if I find one like for like pennies at like a used game store, I'll pick up a UMD movie.
Yeah, I actually got Sakura Wars I saw a UMD of that, and I picked that one up.
Oh, the movie.
Yeah. I was surprised just surprised to use that was released on PSP. But there's some weird ones, like I know La Blue Girls is on PSP as well. I don't know who'd want to watch that on PSP, but I guess if you need your late night fix, grab your PSP.
Man, I should probably do more with my Vita at some point. I got it mostly for playing PSO2 on the go, and then that got shut down, I think, last September.
Oh, that sucks.
Well, they had finished the story up. It got all like the final updates for like the story and everything, and then they were starting the switch over to New Genesis, and it wasn't going to be able to run that, so they just cut support.
Fair enough. Yeah, I have a sorry.
I was one of those lucky people that got the PSTV for like $30.
Yeah, I have one of those too.
Yeah, I need to mod that.
So like my PSTV is modded, my normal Vita wasn't.
I should probably get that for like some of the Vita and the PSP titles, so I can play on the TV, like the Persona games. Yeah,
right. That's what I bought it for originally, was Persona 4 Golden.
Should probably also at some point mod my Wii U to put the homebrew channel on it, because I have the Wii homebrew channel on it, but apparently now there's a Wii U one.
I just use the Wii mode of it and just use the homebrew through that.
Well, apparently there's some decent like homebrew that takes advantage of the Wii U hardware if you actually do that full mod.
Huh. I didn't know that.
Like, I think there's custom tracks in that for Mario Kart 8 and that kind of stuff, if I remember correctly.
Huh. Kind of cool, actually.
You guys gotta play Duck Hunt on Wii, the homebrew channel.
Well, there was the official one that came out on Wii U that was actually really nice. It used the Wii remote.
Mine's better.
Did you put in the make it so when you pull the trigger on the Wii remote, it does the zapper spring sound through the Wii speaker, the Wii remote speaker?
Honestly, when I wrote that app, I don't think that existed. I remember simulating the lighting effect though.
Right. It's just that was one thing I thought was funny with the official one Nintendo did was when you pull the trigger, it does the sound that like the NES zapper would make when you pull the trigger. That comes out of the Wii remote speaker.
Yeah, that is funny. Yeah, when I wrote that Duck Hunt app, that was like right when the DevKit Pro guys released it, and I was doing like early demos with them.
Huh. Yeah, I didn't know you guys did homebrew for that. How easy is it to do homebrew for the Wii U?
I mean, the Wii and the Wii U, I think both now have like full SDL support, don't they?
I don't know. I haven't touched that stuff in forever.
I haven't really done anything on Wii U. I've been thinking about putting the homebrew channel, and I've looked at what people have done on it though. I'd imagine they have like SDL in that working, because I know they have SDL on the Switch. That's how people are just pumping out like homebrew ports for it.
I mean, as long as they don't get shut down or the system bricked for no reason. But yeah, no, it's kind of fantastic. I really love the Wii U, mostly because it's a Wii console that outputs HDMI. That's really all I needed it for, really. So I can just play all the cool Wii titles.
I've heard that the Wii U's scaling for Wii games out of the HDMI port is actually really terrible. So yeah.
Yeah, it's good enough. I mean, you're upscaling 480, like 480i or 480p. It's really not going to look that great, anyways.
Right.
Yeah, and I mean,
it's basically like it depends what you're comparing to. Are you comparing to like other upscalers, or are you comparing it to like Dolphin running at 4K?
I was comparing it to like Dolphin running at 480p, but I don't know. Like the Wii U output always looked a little fuzzy, a little soft to me. But I could just be seeing things.
Like, to be honest, that's kind of a trend with just Nintendo hardware in general. Like, even like just the GameCube through component cables, it's a little soft too. It's nowhere near as crisp as, say, like the Dreamcast through VGA.
Mm-hmm.
Even though they're both running at like 480p.
What about with the GameCube digital stuff, like with the HDMI output directly?
I don't have one to compare. I just have the component cables.
I have the GCHD, the one that has the dual HDMI and component.
Yeah.
I will say the component out of that one looks a lot sharper. It looks pretty sharp.
Yeah.
Compared to other stuff.
Like the official component cables.
I've never seen the official component cables in person.
And that's what I have. Like, they're sharp, but like when you compare it to, like, say, like put like Dreamcast VGA next to it, it's like it looks significantly sharper. There's also like GameCube also does a lot of dithering, I've noticed.
Yeah, so, Nintendo's good at that. Rip. Ogami realized that he's not in a military troop, but a theater troop. R.I.P.
Which, speaking of homebrew, have any of you guys got a chance to try out the Doom 32X Resurrection port?
Wait, what?
There's Chili Willy, and I forget, I think his name is Vic. They're working on reporting Doom to the 32X based off of the Jaguar and 3DO code.
Huh.
And basically they have it running like full screen, like full frame rate, with pretty much all the levels are in there. Like all the enemy sprites, so the enemies can like do like their full movements. They have infighting and all that stuff is in there and working.
On 32X?
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy, actually.
They redid all the FM synth music, so it sounds better. But then the other side of it is, if you have the Sega CD attached, you can put a CD in there with the soundtrack on it, and it'll just play it off the CD.
Oh, nice. So now you don't have to listen to farts anymore as the soundtrack.
Sure, and even if you don't have that, the music's been redone so it doesn't sound like that anyways.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, but I'd be down to try that out if I had a 32X, but I don't. Sadly.
How much are those things going for these days?
Oh, like a couple years ago, I thought it was like $100, like anywhere from like $50 to $100. I don't know what they're at now.
Yeah, honestly, I got rid of my Sega CD and I just have the Mega SD now. But even then, I mostly just play it through my my Mister at the current moment. I usually only really do the Mister for Sega CD for Snatcher and Christmas time. I should do a playthrough of it just for getting the holiday spirit. Then it says
that's an odd game to get into the holiday spirit with.
Hey, I mean it's technically a Christmas game. Takes place in December. You talk to a Santa Claus to get info. Blow up cyborgs. I mean, what else is there to ask for a Christmas game?
I usually play Christmas nights around Christmas.
Yeah, I guess you could do that too.
I just noticed the save file screen. We didn't change we didn't change the Soccer Wars logo. It's still the Japanese one.
Yeah, that was left alone.
Yeah, it's clear enough.
We could probably go back and edit it at some point, but
I kind of like it. I mean, it says everything needs to be Sakura Wars and then it in Japanese, so I mean, it's cool.
It's also because that one I think we left alone because it also has it in English on it, whereas on the title screen there was no English at all with it.
Right.
It's actually a completely different logo on the title screen.
I like the status. Everyone's normal, but Sumir's terrible.
Well, yeah, you told her to pick up the fork, which is horrible. You should never make her do that.
God forbid.
Could have been worse. You could have told her to put down the fork.
Put it down.
I can't even imagine how in Soccer Wars 2, you know, there's 8 girls to juggle all the time.
Yeah, to be fair, it was a little bit easier in the 2020 game because you could just go on individual dates and like it didn't have like a time mechanic where it's like if you go on one, it's going to be night when you get back.
Right.
So it's not too bad.
Ugh. I think if we ever do 2, we'll have to change it to Rennie instead of Lenny because Lenny's just sound, you know, it's even though it's spelled differently, Lenny sounds like, you know, a male accountant
Well, I mean that's like the joke in the not like it's like for like the first like half the game they think he's a guy.
Right, huh. That's true.
That and I think that's the official localization that Funimation used for the movie.
Right. Unfortunately, yeah. The thing is, I don't like about the Funimation dub is they just spell everything wrong.
Well, there's that, and then the other side with like the problem Funimation has is they just keep reusing this same pool of voice actors over and over again that have been typecast over the years. So it's like when you're watching one of their dubs, it's like, oh, I'm not hearing like one that I laugh at all the time is with Initial D. It's like, oh, I'm not hearing Takumi and Ryosuke talking about racing. I'm hearing Piccolo, Krillin, and Goku talk about it.
That is true.
It just is like it causes a disconnect.
Yeah, it's kind of funny, but I wonder if they have the same issue in Japan with some of the voice actors. But maybe the pool's a little bit bigger in that country.
I imagine possibly. At the same time, though, a lot of like, in some cases, like for like some of the, it seems like they're low effort dubs that Funimation will do, like with Initial D, and it's like they're not trying to sound different. So it's just like it sounds like they're just like talking like they would for like Piccolo and that.
Yeah, I actually didn't realize that Chris Sabat was an Initial D. Who does he play?
I think he's who is it? It's the guy that has like the misfiring. The guy that drives the Evo. Okay. Yeah.
Evo gang. Fair enough. I didn't know he put that.
To be fair, Funimation, I don't think they did the dub for the movie. They just have the rights to it now because the company who originally did it went out of business.
Yeah, I think it was ADV who did it originally.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
But they may have redubbed it. I don't know.
I probably answered this.
No, they just. I think they're still using.
They redubbed Initial D because the original company that had that, their dub was terrible. They replaced all the Eurobeat with rap music.
Yeah, and the intro is the literally worst intro I've ever heard.
Oh, man. That's sacrilege. You don't do that to Initial D.
And he no longer delivers tofu, he delivers pizza.
Are you kidding me? They did change that?
I believe so.
That's like a 4Kids localization change.
They pretty much did that. They actually made a PC game based off of it, and it's not good.
Then there's the 4Kids One Piece dub, which is just like surreal.
That one's
amazing because of how horrible it is.
Yeah. I do think my favorite 4Kids dub has to be Shaman King, though.
Like, to be fair, their dub of Pokemon isn't bad, but then that's one where it's like there's not much they need to censor, but then they just randomly like, no, the rice ball is now a sandwich.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Jeez.
Yeah.
Everyone's so mean.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I grew up in the very tail end of Saturday morning cartoons, so I have to admit I do love my 4 Kids dubs, even if they are trash.
ooh, did you watch
See,
you
like
ever
when
watch
I grew up, it
Ultimate
wasn't
Muscle?
Saturday morning cartoons; it was Saturday morning Power Rangers.
Heck yeah. I was in both eras. Both sides of the coin. Early morning Power Rangers, Pokemon, all the good stuff.
Yeah. I was Sonic X. My era was Sonic X, Dinosaur King, and probably Chaotix.
Ooh, I watched Chaotix. That was pretty good.
Yeah, that one's actually really good.
Did you watch
The Sonic
Tokyo
cartoon
Mew
I
Mew?
had growing up was the Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, and what was it, like the SATM one?
Oh yeah, and then Sonic Underground. But yeah, no, it's there's a lot of good stuff in the Saturday
Then there's
morning
ones
stuff.
like, then there's ones when I go back and watch, I'm like, how the hell were we allowed to watch this as children? How is this allowed to be aired for children? That's like Ren and Stimpy and Rocko's Modern Life. I watched that when I was a kid, and now when I go back and watch, I'm like, holy crap.
Yeah.
Yeah, you always hear interviews with people who wrote those shows in the '90s saying they'd constantly be fighting with the network to try and push the limits as far as they could. I guess that those are those kind of shows.
Like there's one with like Rocko's Modern Life, I think, where it's like the scene only like aired once or twice and then was like cut from the episode anytime. Like it's not even on the DVD, I don't think. And there's one where it's like they're on a road trip and they have to like stop at like a hotel, and they stop at a place called like the Come and Go Motel, and it is an hourly rate motel.
Oh my lord.
Oh my gosh.
Like
Oh,
they
no.
get there, and like the guys at the counter, there's like all these lights going off behind him.
Oh,
He's like, he's like, you want room? How long? And they're like, well, I guess the whole night. He's like, the whole night? Oh wow.
wow.
Oh Jesus.
He's like, let me check. He's like, oh, we have premature ejection. We have a room available.
Wow.
I still think my favorite Rocko's Modern Life skit is the one where Rocco works as the phone line operator. And
Oh yes, like again,
oh baby,
that's another,
oh
like, how did
baby,
that-
and it's like
It's
Rocco.
his neighbor. It's
Yeah.
his neighbor.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
I heard there was one band scene where they make like a joke about lesbian sex, where this person goes in and chews on the carpet.
Oh, that's Cow and Chicken.
Oh, okay. Oh.
Yeah,
Like-
the Rowdy Girls, or whatever. I forgot what the name of the group was, but it was basically a bunch of people that yeah, it was that sort of joke.
Well, and then there's like, remember like the big heads? They have like their shrubberies are called salmon bushes.
Huh? I don't get that
they
one.
like it's just like there's stuff in there where it's like, I'm like, is this some innuendo that like it's not registering? Because it's such a weird and obscure thing to have.
Yeah.
What was the other one? And then there's like Ren and Stimpy. They like there's the episode where like they play the game called Don't Pee on the Electric Fence.
Oh, I don't remember that one.
That's one where it's like it's heavily edited on TV now. Like
Probably why.
Ren comes home like pissed, and he like is saying things like, "I'm going to like gouge your eyes out" and things.
Wow.
And then at the end, he's like, "What's this stupid thing?" They're like, "Oh, it's a game. It's really fun. It's the Don't Pee on the Electric Fence game." They actually plug in an electric fence over the board game.
Oh Jesus.
He's like, "Oh yeah, what do you think of this?" And he pees on the electric fence, and the house blows up. And it cuts to like they're in hell, and the devil's like, "You peed on the electric fence, didn't you?"
Lol. But yeah, no, there was so many good stuff back then. It's kind of cool that I was able to get both eras, where I got like the Ren and Stimpys and the Invader Zims and stuff, and Angry Beavers, and I got the Fox box stuff like Kirby Right Back at You, Sonic X, Shaman King, and of course Ultimate Muscle is probably hands down best dub 4Kids has ever done.
Like probably like the last like Nicktoon that I watched. Just like it was like at the tail end of like when I was like in middle school, I think, was probably like Fairly Odd Parents, just because that one was pretty funny.
Right. Yeah, that was a defining show for when I was in about that age range too.
So it's just 8 massive
Like,
shit.
there's things in that too that like there's things Cosmo says it's like they could not get away with that today.
Yeah. I think the max for me for Cartoon Network or Nickelodeon is I think Danny Phantom was like towards the end when I stopped watching it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's probably about the same for me.
Yeah, at that point, I think the only show that I remember watching episodes of is just iCarly because my siblings watched it, and I had to watch them, so I watched it. It's like, oh, whatever, I have nothing better to watch. All right, I'm gonna stop them. I almost missed that.
Like, I remember when I had to watch my cousin's kid the other day, and I'm like, oh, we'll try and put some cartoons on for you, and like the new, like, even like you look like Looney Tunes, like, this isn't funny, like, it's just like dumb.
I've heard a lot of people talk good about like Loud House and a couple other shows that are on now, but I think a lot of the ones that even like I watched a little bit in college, like Adventure Time, regular show, and even to like a lesser extent, Steven Universe is like canceled at this point.
Like, and then I remember like I was going through like Disney Plus because my parents had it, and I'm like, okay, well let's see. Oh, here, we'll put DuckTales on, and it's like I put like the older DuckTales on. It comes up with like a disclaimer that says like, it basically said like, this show is offensive and you're bad for wanting to watch it.
Yeah.
Like, what?
To be fair though, the new DuckTales is kind of fire because they have David Tennant as Scrooge McDuck, and it's like, okay, I can dig that as a giant Doctor Who fan. But yeah, no, I do think some of the disclaimers are weird, but I do think there is still some stuff that's kind of But I think the funniest one is that I when I watched the Muppets, we'd get like the disclaimers for that. Like my parents like,
yeah,
oh,
I'm like, what the heck? It's the Muppets.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I was about to wonder what Pandemonium said is like Blank and Josh. But there was like, oh, okay, I get the joke. It took me a little bit.
I think the funniest controversy I remember reading about with the Muppets was when they were doing Muppet Treasure Island. The native chief is called like Spot Am, and they got sued by the Spam Corporation for it.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and then the judge said something along the lines of, "I think it'd be good if the Spam Corporation was represented by a source of actual meat, because the island chief was an actual pig."
Yeah. I don't think I remember that one.
It's a great movie. Tim Curry's always great in it.
Oh dang! I'll have to check that one out then. I love me some Tim Curry.
Yeah, he plays Long John Silver as the main villain, and he's amazing. Like
yeah,
always.
I think the only Muppets movies I've seen is the Most Wanted and the two newest ones.
They're making a new one that comes out in like a week or two.
Really? There's a new one coming out?
Yeah, Muppets and the Haunted Mansion.
Is it going to be like in the same universe as the first three? Or sorry, not the first three, the last three, sorry, or the last two.
I don't think so. I think they're just gonna do like the general ideas of the characters and not like some canon.
Yeah, I wasn't sure because they had like that new character in there, the one new Muppet, so I wasn't sure if he's going to be part of it or if he's officially part of that universe. So I know they kind of tried to extend upon it on that Muppets Office ripoff that they did that bombed.
Oh,
like,
right.
Awfully.
I remember seeing that on there, and that was not good.
I thought I heard. I think the reason why bombed it like got massive criticized because like I guess Miss Piggy and Kermit broke up, and they're like, yeah, let's not. It's like everyone hated that. It's like the Fallout thing was like everyone disliked that. Yeah, Muppets: A Christmas Carol. I don't think I watched Muppets: A Christmas Carol. I still think my favorite Christmas Carol iteration has to be the Disney one with Scrooge McDuck.
Yeah, that one's pretty good.
That one's I like that one a lot. But yeah, no, I'm a big fan of like yeah.
Like with me, like growing up, my brother, he was born in '85, so the things he was into were like G.I. Joe and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So I was also into that with him.
I inherited my uncle's. I managed to inherit my uncle's G.I. Joe comic collection from the '80s.
Mm-hmm.
It's way better than I thought. Than it has any right to be. The writing's like way better.
So you ever seen like the? Have you ever seen the '80s G.I. Joe movie?
I've seen bits and pieces of it.
I don't think I have.
the best part of the movie is the opening title sequence, and it's like complete like unrelated to the movie itself.
Oh right, yeah. All the Cobra troopers are like coming in on parachutes or something.
Yeah, it's like none of that actually happens in the movie. It's just like a neat title sequence. But it's like the plot is just like it's off the wall because it's basically like it's supposed to be like this is the end of the G.I. Joe cartoon.
Oh, is that a live action or is it an animated G.I. Joe?
It's an
movie?
animated one. It's basically like the end of the cartoon. Basically, it's to be the end of it.
Gotcha.
Animated and one of the characters.
It was actually done by Toei Animation, is who drew it. So,
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Does everyone look
people
like
who did the original
DBZ characters then?
Probably.
Oh no, like they were the ones who did the series too.
Huh. I did not know that. That's actually pretty cool. I didn't know Toei did the G.I. Joe series.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was like I think like Sunbow in the U.S. is the ones who like wrote it and did everything, and then they outsourced the animation to Toei.
Dang. That's kind of cool actually to know.
There's actually like a Japanese dub of it too, and it's like the intro is completely different.
Makes sense. One of the things I was confused about is that if Transformers is an anime or not, because I've heard rumors that.
Well, I think it's the same thing. Like Sunbow were the ones who like did the cartoon, but they outsourced the animation to Toei.
Oh, okay, so it's the same. Okay, that makes sense. And imagine it's probably an easy sell in Japan.
Yeah.
It's like giant mechs fighting that transform. Okay, so basically a Super Sentai thing. Let's do it.
Yeah. Of course, then the question is, it wouldn't be an anime once the third season of the original cartoon happens because they outsourced to a Korean studio afterwards.
Yeah. Kind of weird. It's kind of like with I don't know if you guys know any I think I talked about it before. It's called Vicky und der starken Mann in German. It's like Vicky and the Strong Men. It basically like the closest thing I can describe it is like one of those 70s cartoons. I guess maybe some of the Hanna-Barbera stuff.
Oh.
But I think that was outsourced to either Korea or Japan as well. And yeah, I think it's that same situation.
Yeah, the one thing like with the G.I. Joe movie, I remember it's kind of comical is in like the original cut of it, like Duke dies, they kill him off.
Damn.
And then that went over horribly like test audiences. Like we have to fix this, but we can't have it's too late for us to completely like reanimate the scene. So they just dub over to like he's gone into a coma. It's like there's a gaping hole in his chest, like Goku style gaping hole in his chest. They're like he's gone into a coma.
Just add a black outline like they do in the original dub.
Yeah, and also the reason is because like all the kids hated how Optimus Prime died in the Transformers movie like the year prior, so they were thinking of like flip flopping on it.
Kind of like with Spock in Star Trek.
Yeah, that was like Leonard Nimoy wanted like to be like killed off to be done with it, and then as like they're making the movies, like wait, I actually missed this. I liked working with you guys, but it's too late to like not kill me off. What can we do?
Why don't you direct a movie, Leonard Nimoy? But yeah, no, that's another series I absolutely love is Star Trek, especially the Next Generation to Enterprise. Well, I guess technically now it's Picard.
I tried to watch like an episode or so of Discovery and Picard, and I just couldn't get into it.
I've heard they're garbage.
Yeah, they're kind of just from what I've seen and heard of Picard, it's basically character assassination.
On the bright side, I've watched a few clips of Lower Decks, and that show is absolutely hilarious.
Yeah, Lower Decks is really it's kind of funny because it canonically fits, and it's pretty much what it delivers what Picard has. So that character I won't spoil anything, but there are character references in that, and characters do appear. So I guess you get that that joy.
I've seen that clip.
Yeah, that end part with the two characters in the ship.
Uh-huh.
I do need to finish watching that. I think season 2 just started recently.
It's like 4 episodes.
I think so.
That came out.
So yeah, I want to watch it because yeah. So we're saying
the one I would have liked to see that I was disappointed they didn't try to do it would be before the actors got too old to do it. Do like a final send off for like all the next gen people, but have like a movie of like with Voyager, Deep Space Nine, and possibly next gen people in it. Yeah. Just give them their final send off. But we never got it.
I think after Nemesis, they're like, nah, let's not.
It's like sad too.
The thing with Nemesis is like, if I remember correctly, the person they got to write it and direct it, like had never watched any of it before, so they were like forcing the characters, like the actors, to do things that were out of character, and the actors were like fighting with them, like no.
Yeah.
That's like, from what I remember reading on it years ago, that was like the big problem with it.
That and also just like they deleted a lot of really interesting and like vital scenes.
Yeah.
Oops. Oh crap! I did the wrong motion. Whatever. Oops. Is it C? Man, I've been doing. Oh god. Oh, okay. So I think it's C. Okay, there's C. Going to move. Okay, it's been a little bit, guys. So come with some slack here.
The control scheme for like the battles are really weird in this game because C can kind of select everything, but then A can also kind of do that. But then once you press A, you have to press E or something like that to get back to being able to press C. It's so strange.
You can use the mouse.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
Right. I don't know. I tried the mouse and I thought it made the visual novel parts really good, but I did not like it with in battles for some reason because it felt like I had to click everything way too many times.
The one game that's like it's an interesting one that uses the mouse is Panzer Dragoon 2. Oh. That one's kind of neat to try with it.
Supports it? Huh.
From what I've heard, and I think I tried it years ago, but yeah, supposedly it uses the mouse.
Oh, intriguing. Oops, I probably should have had that. Oh well. My bad, guys.
There's so many games that support the mouse that we just don't know about.
And then there's ones that like just for no reason don't support the mouse when they should, like Warcraft 2 or Command and Conquer.
Yeah, those are weird ones. I think hopefully we'll be able to do that interview and get that explanation out why it didn't. We'll see.
Did the mouse come out in America?
Yeah, it was released with Netlink.
Oh.
Yeah, a little bit late, but I mean it came out, so I guess that's kind of good at least. Yeah. Oh crap! What time is it?
It'd be interesting to see if you could hack it into some of them. But then again, like Warcraft 2 has like an entire like control scheme like made around not using the mouse. Same with like SimCity 2000, if I remember correctly.
Wow, it's already 4:30. We just got into the first battle. I'm surprised we have so many viewers though. Nobody left, so I'm very happy about that. Like everyone's been chilling and vibing, so I really appreciate that, guys. Usually we have a drop off in people, but it's cool to see so many people hanging out and chilling in chat. So I appreciate that a lot.
We're gonna try and hype up. I'm gonna try and hype up next week. We're gonna do Soccer Wars GB, whatever build we have so far. We found a couple bugs, but we're getting there.
You guys got this.
Yeah, we're about 90% done with the translation, I think.
Nice. I'm excited.
It's so weird how fast we were able to do it.
Yeah, I've been contemplating bumping Grandy up to 1.0 because I'm like, I haven't heard anything, but the moment I do that, I'm going to get a bunch of bug reports.
Oh, well, that's the whole point, is you do that just so to get more bug reports.
Right. To me, though, like how I do my versioning is like when I put it to 1.0, I'm done. It's done. I'm done with it. That to me is what 1.0 is. And then like a 2.0 or something would only be like if there's some like breakthrough on something or something horrible comes about that I need to fix it.
I see.
The game just blows up your Saturn?
Yes. Like the only thing like that would make me do like another like addendum version afterwards would be if I could figure out how to get the floppy drive working with it.
Oh. That'd be intriguing. I wouldn't know why you'd want to do that, but I mean it's intriguing that you'd want to do that. It's just like so you can do it.
Just for kicks and giggles. Just to
Fair
see
enough.
if you can make it work.
I can't argue that. That's actually kind of funny.
Shadow Mask is commenting that he was able to find a storage glitch of an overflow from 1 to 255.
Is that in the original game though? It's like if it's in the original game, like I probably won't try and fix it.
I've never played Grandia, so unfortunately I can't test that.
But I thought I fixed. If it's what I'm thinking of, I thought I fixed that and that got reported on the site. I'd have to look again.
Rip that guy.
Yeah, Grandia is like, it's well programmed, but then it also does have quite a bit of bugs in it. Like there's one that's it's in the I think it's in the Saturn one. I think it's also in like the PlayStation version. Like when I was talking to people who speedrun the game, they say whenever they speedrun it, they put it into mono instead of stereo because the game is like has a tendency to possibly crash when you're running in stereo for some odd reason.
Really? It crashes in stereo? What the heck?
Well, it's just like it doesn't happen often. It's just like every now and then, like there's a freak thing that might happen that the game just crashes. And they said when they do speedrunning, they found like if you put it into mono, it doesn't happen. So, oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
I'll take your word for it.
That's a thing that happens.
Yeah.
That's bizarre. Why mono to stereo? What the heck?
It might just be something in the sound playback code because it is one of the first games to use ADX, so maybe there's just some bug in that. But then the fact it carries over to the PlayStation version is odd. Because like they're all speedrunning the PlayStation, they're like, yeah, we found this, and they're like, if people are reporting just random crashes playing your patch, that might be it.
Yeah.
So there were ones that like would get like there's ones that I think like people have reported to me before, and I'll sit there doing their exact steps over and over again, and I can't reproduce it. Like one that happens a lot is apparently like in the volcano, like there's a chance where it just randomly crashes when you go into a battle, and I've just never been able to reproduce that. Like I once played like for good like just 4 or 5 hours straight, just running around in the volcano area, just getting into battles, and nothing happened.
No crashes, no weird stuff.
Yeah.
Bizarre, but I don't. That's strange. I could have sworn we talked about this before sometime though. Maybe I'm just getting a bad case of deja vu.
Possibly.
I could have sworn maybe somebody said they were gonna look into that bug, or maybe somebody found it. I don't even know anymore.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
It's that one in like the volcano area. It's been reported a lot of times. I've just never been able to reproduce it.
Huh.
And it's just one of those things. Like if I can't reproduce it, I can't see what's actually going wrong to try and figure out if it's me or if it's just the original game.
Yeah, I'm still excited the amount you did. Even if it's like a 1.0 and there's some glitches, it's like, I mean, it's not that bad of a deal. Because I mean, I imagine the original game has glitches like the stereo not like crashing the game or whatever. So, I mean, it's not really that big of a deal.
Well, there's quite a few I've found that I like fixed because there were quite a few areas where like they put the wrong portrait code in, or they put the wrong ID for like a sound effect, where like a sound effect wouldn't play, or just the wrong portrait showed up, and I fixed quite a few of those.
Huh. All right, I'm about to beat the hell out of Satan. Let's just waste all the special on him.
The final fight against Satan in this game is absolutely garbage. It's not even like skill. It's not like a game it's not like a battle that requires skill. It's just you have to learn how to cheese the fight because he just has a bunch of insta kill attacks.
Oh, you'd be kidding me! That's weak.
Basically, he sits in the middle of the stage, and you gotta keep throwing your troops at him, and he'll send off an attack that just blows all your troops back to the beginning of the stage. You gotta keep moving your troops back and forth and attacking this one spot, and it's so utterly boring.
Well, it's kind of like one of those classic RPG things where, like, if you sit there constantly keep trying to heal people and keep them alive, you'll fail. You have to eventually just sacrifice people.
Yeah.
To be fair though, I don't think Sakura Wars it's like you die. It's like Fire Emblem where you die. Because that's kind of cool in that aspect.
The only consequence for like letting your troops die in this game is I think in 2
they get pissed off.
Yeah, I think in 2 there's actually a bit of a game mechanic where if you let too many people die, you don't get the cutscene at the very end of the game where you're promoted from ensign to lieutenant. You just get sent off to Paris without the promotion.
Makes sense. And then Paris is where the second game takes place.
The third game.
The third.
Oh, it's the third game. Okay. Is Ogami in the third one, or is it a different person?
No, it's Ogami.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, he's sent to basically rebuild the European, help out the Paris team.
Makes sense.
For the fourth one, he was supposed to go to the U.S. Then they said, "Oh no, the Dreamcast is being canceled. Let's do like a fan service game."
Mm-hmm.
and they brought him back to Japan.
And then, yeah, that's where I'm actually confused about is with the events of, as the big events of Sakura Wars 2020, where everyone sacrifices themselves to lock away evil.
That's supposed to take place, like, it doesn't happen in like any of the games. It's supposed to take place like 2 years after the events of Sakura Wars 5 in 1930. That's when they basically gets cast to the Shadow Realm, essentially.
Interesting. All right, guys. I think that's about as much time as we have today. It's 4:30.
The next chapter is just like a quick 30 like maybe a minute or so if you do it, and then you'll be able to save again, and then you get to see the episode preview.
Okay, that works. We'll do that then.
It's just like the haha, let's all party after the battle.
Can do. We can do that, get a little more convo going. I'm so surprised the strength of people. Usually we drop down to like 4 or 5 people. We kept 16 strong. Oh my god! Thanks, guys.
This is where Sumira gets super drunk and you learn she can't hold her liquor.
Fair enough. Yeah, but I really want to sit down and beat this game again. Beat this game because I actually have not beaten the first Sakura Wars game. I've beaten the 2020 game, so hopefully that's good enough for now. But I need to sit down and beat this one. I kind of would like to do it on stream though, like maybe do like a Police Knots and Sakura Wars like a switch off where I do a little bit of Police Knots, a little bit of Sakura Wars.
You could do a stream of playing through the I Love Mickey, I Love Donald collection.
I forgot about that.
Playthrough.
How's that? Is that patch ready to go?
Yeah, it's pretty much done. It's one of those ones where it's at 0.91 just because I don't want to put it to 1.0 and then get a whole bunch of bug reports. So I'm waiting to find someone to play through both games the whole way through and be like, is everything okay?
Fair enough.
Oh. Which the one that has the most hacking to it is probably Castle of Illusion. Because
I'm excited. I'm excited to play the Final Fantasy game though.
Yeah. Yeah, for this year's competition, I want to see if I can get battles fully working. I'll be happy.
Fair enough. But I definitely want to check out that Mickey collection. That'd be kind of fun.
People are sleeping on that Donald and Mickey collection. It's the one fan translation for Saturn that's not on CD-ROMs for some reason.
Maybe people are like, oh, it's on Genesis, so it doesn't matter, sort of things.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a dumb reasoning, but
I did see a certain Facebook group had repros of it.
Fair enough. A little bit of action. Jeez, everyone is just hammered besides Iris.
Maria looks fine.
Yeah. Well, she's Russian, so I mean that makes sense.
You are all lightweights.
Pretty much. Yeah, I do think. Sorry, what are you saying?
I think if we ever, I was just random thought. I think probably sticking with Rennie for a potential Sakura Wars 2, because Lenny makes me think of Hitler's favorite movie director, Leni Riefenstahl.
Oh, I was thinking more like Lenny and Carl from The Simpsons.
The thing with these previews is so many people I've seen watching they don't realize how much editing was done to these to make them work.
How much editing was done to these to make them work?
Well, so every single thing of English text you're seeing was edited in.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The next episode text, the title card, all of that.
It's kind of funny.
I had to make a blue screen template for the sliding doors.
Oh wow, really? That's actually kind of yeah. I did something similar. Well, not the sliding doors, but the subtitles for the Columns 2 game. But it was a little bit easier because all I had to do was go into Premiere and just edit the subtitles and put it to the file and submit it.
Yeah, we didn't redo the actual text.
Oh well. Actually, I forgot you worked on the Super Intens, right?
Yeah. Not really. It was more just testing. Very, very tail end. I wasn't involved in the main part of it.
I gotcha. Yeah, because I think we did shout you out. Did we shout you out on the podcast we did? I can't remember. No, I could have sworn we did.
I wasn't in the community when you guys did the podcast with Noah Steam and the Trekkies.
Yeah, I could have sworn they mentioned a bunch of testers though, and I was like, oh yeah, the shouts out to them too. But it's been like almost a year and a half since I did that one, so I probably have a mind melt on that. So
no, I wasn't in the community until about January of this year, so I wouldn't have been able. I was just a tester for the 2.0 patch.
Fair enough, but yeah, hopefully, I'm glad you're in the scene now. You've been helping out with a lot of translations. I mean, we worked together. Did you work on Soccer? You worked on Soccer Wars columns too, right?
Yep, that was my first. That was my first.
Gotcha, that one, and then we did Rainbow Cotton, and that was pretty fun. I like that one. That was a lot of titling.
See, the epic troll would be to like do like an announcement of a new Soccer Wars translation, but it turns out to be the columns game on the Saturn.
Oh God, we would get yeah. I'd play it.
You know what?
Or like like there's like a couple other games on Saturn for Soccer Wars, but they're pretty much just like glorified like newsletters, but with like games built around them and like just a whole bunch of cutscenes and interviews with like the voice actors and that. You could translate those.
Honestly,
there's one where
that'd be kind of cool.
It's one where you play as Ogami and you're trying to get the theater ready for a show, and cut in between is interviews with the actual voice actresses. Funny enough, is one of the very few It's a Saturn game that supports the MPEG cart.
Huh.
Yeah, it uses SoftDeck for the videos. So if you don't have the MPEG card, it does 10 frames per second MPEG in a window.
Yikes! Dang, that is pretty funny though.
That's why things like SynPack and TrueMotion were used.
Makes sense. All right. Well, I think this is about it for us today, guys. I gotta head back to doing some work, but it was great having everybody on. I had a great time playing this game as usual. I love Soccer Wars, and I know these two guys in the chat do as well. Both Trekkies Unite and Burnt Ends or Seawin. I keep calling them one or the other. I need to stick with one name. So, what do you think? What one?
For online stuff, I guess Burnt Ends, since it doesn't matter really, but Burnt Ends, since that's the Twitter handle.
Sounds good. Burnt Ends it is. Yeah, it's cool having these two Soccer Wars giants in the chat. Got two of the translators, right? Which I mean, people that worked on the translation project.
I mean, I wouldn't say I'm a giant. That would probably be like Noah and Bull Lentils and those guys.
Yeah, but I mean, you did help out, and you are a pretty big giant in terms of like three of the big ones. So in terms of Lunar and Soccer Wars, and of course Grandia. So I think that's pretty big as well. And of course, Burnt Ends with the Game Boy Soccer Wars, the columns, and Rainbow Cotton. So that's pretty massive in my book.
And next week we're gonna try and do a Soccer Wars GB. One of the very first people to reveal it.
I'm down. I am mega down for that. I'm excited to play that. I'm gonna get my Mister set up. Gonna play it HD quality, baby, right on the screen. Gonna even use the Saturn controller for that. Gonna be fancy. Fancy with that, guys. You guys want awesome games? Want Sega on your Game Boy?
Was there a Soccer Wars edition like Game Boy Color released for that?
Yep, I have one. It's a It's a transparent pink Game Boy Color, and the bezel, the plastic on the screen has Sakura pedals on it.
Please don't tell me it's expensive.
Nice.
Please don't tell me it's expensive. I want to buy that so bad now.
It's a Game Boy Color. It's going to be expensive.
It's about 150 now.
Not bad. Not bad, actually.
Get it now.
I think, if I remember, it's the Dreamcast is where like the really obscene, like expensive special edition stuff is, isn't it?
Yeah. The
Yeah.
Soccer Wars Dreamcast has shot up to like $500 now.
Thank God I bought that.
The one I would like to get for the Dreamcast would be the PSO VMU, but that was expensive years ago. I don't even know what it is now.
Oh man.
Literally, I think it's a running joke in the Dreamcast community where all the Dreamcast special editions are $500 and up, or even worse. Like especially with the Code Veronica Resident Evil ones. Oh my God!
It's so weird. It was only on the market for what, 2.5 years, and there's all these ridiculous special editions for it.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's almost like they made more of the special editions than the actual like normal Dreamcast.
Yeah.
I guess maybe they decided it's our last console, so have fun with it.
Literally made 50 special editions of that console, but I'm glad I do own the Soccer Wars edition of the Dreamcast. That console is actually incredibly pretty, and I use the controller all the time. I don't care if I'm ruining collector's value. Don't care. Do Do not
I
care
think
in the
it's probably-
slightest.
Well, what you do is you get a special pair of like gaming gloves, and you wear those when you're playing. They're like
great.
silk.
Yeah, like hand condoms for my controllers. That sounds like fun.
Unfortunately, it seems that the Soccer Wars Dreamcast is probably one of the more affordable special editions.
Yeah, that is kind of a weird thing to think about. But even then, it's like 500. But I think it's like cheaper with just the console itself, right? I think it's
the
only
console
like
itself.
it's like only like in the hundreds range for the console, maybe a little bit more.
About a year, I got mine about a year ago, and it was about $200 for the console and the controller and the VMU.
That's not too
Probably
bad.
gone up.
Oh, looks like 200 starting for a loose Soccer Wars Game Boy Color. Ooh boy, my favorite.
Was there a Soccer Wars Game Gear ever released? Because I know there's like special editions of the Game Gear that were released towards like 95, 96 for like Magic Knight Rayearth and that.
Yeah, my friend has one of those, and he said it's ungodly expensive, and I'm kind of annoyed with that.
I don't think there is a Soccer Wars variant of it. Game Gear would have been almost dead by that time. I think, right?
The first game came out in 96, and that's when they were still pumping out like some of the later Game Gear releases. So it would be right on the tail end there.
But yeah, I've looked on console variations. There is none, unfortunately, but it's timing. Just timing.
Fair enough, but yeah, no, it's been a crazy time for the game collecting and stuff. I mean, games that were like maybe hundreds of dollars is like $100, like hundreds of dollars now. Like I know all the Pokemon ones are at least $300 starting for all the complete and box stuff.
Well, and then there's all this stuff of like all that drama going on about supposedly people manipulating it.
Oh yeah, the WADA scam.
My favorite.
Yeah.
Here's an interesting thing about the Shadow Mask asked. Why isn't the rainbow arrow at the bottom centered?
That's a good question. One that I do not have the answer to. Because I'm looking at my screen and it doesn't look centered as well. I don't think I think that's actually the design of the people that did the game, not the translators. So.
Yeah, I don't think we messed with that.
Yeah, I just think maybe it's just glitched. I think a lot of games are like that. Like a lot of the cotton cutscenes, they look off center, but they're technically centered. Like I know there's a couple of subtitles for the that are built into the video that have like the location, but for some reason it's not centered directly, so I don't know why.
Well, there's also like the one there's like a famous one with Symphony of the Night where they couldn't get the VRAM timings right, I think, for VDP2. And as a result, they just saved all the graphics for like the text in a format that when they get those wrong timings, they'll look right on screen, and it kind of drove emulator developers crazy for years. Like, Night of Dragon probably comment on that. Is he still here?
I think he's gone. I know I can't see the Discord.
So yeah, so like there's that kind of stuff too. So
I know he's here.
Something like that.
Oh no, he's still in the chat.
He's here, but is he actually like alive?
Might be in the bathroom. But anyways, that's probably about. I'd love to continue talking with you guys, but I actually have to head out. But it was great playing you guys again. We're gonna be next week. We're gonna be doing Soccer Wars and Game Boy. So definitely go watch us for that. It's gonna be a great time. I'll try to get a banner and stuff ready for that, and we'll advertise it heavily because I love Soccer Wars, and any reason to play more of them is okay in my book. And it's gonna be a blind speed run.
It's the 25th anniversary on the September 27th, so this is our chance to get something special.
Exactly, going to be a great celebration of a fantastic game series, and one that I hope continues because I want more Soccer Wars. Please give me all of it, game collections,
like
equal games.
Did the 2019 game not sell very well in the U.S.? Because I would imagine like Sega would have jumped on that to try and like translate the original games and like put them on something.
I sold decently because it took a while for it to go on sale, so I take that as a decent way of telling how well it sold.
Yeah, and it's really popular at least where I was, because I went to a convention when I went to Sabaton Con. I actually saw they had a Sakura figure there. I was like, oh, cool. I'll just wait till tomorrow. No one's gonna want to buy this because nobody wants to play it. I come back, it's sold out. Like, it's like, oh yeah, that's sold out instantaneously. I was like, wait, what the heck? It's like, it's Sakura Wars. Who, like, I wanted to meet the person like that got it because I want to talk Sakura Wars with them. So that was a bit of a sadness. But luckily, I'll probably get it somewhere else. It's everywhere online, so I'll go pick up a copy. I have one of the original Sakura, so I'll get the other one, and yeah, then Burntons and I will have to have a collection showdown. We'll try to outdo each other's collections and see who can out-collect the other. He's kind of on the winning side right now though, because he actually translated and worked on the games, so he's kind of got me beat by a bit, unfortunately.
I've worked on more Sakura Wars games in the West than anybody else in the world.
Exactly. He already is the biggest Sakura Wars fan. He beat me by that, so I literally cannot top him unless I start learning Japanese.
Wasn't there a rumored like localization of all 4 games on the Dreamcast that like Sega was doing?
The plan was they were going to bring the 5th game and the 1st game over as part of a Project Sakura Wars, a world project.
I remember reading somewhere like there was like a rumor where someone said like they had like voice actors all lined up and ready to go for like the first 4 games on Dreamcast, and then when the Dreamcast got canceled, they stopped.
Oh, unfortunately, it's one of those great what ifs of the world.
Yeah, I'm hoping we'll get collection soon. Maybe Sega will put it on. I think what's gonna happen is Sega's gonna put out a Japanese one. They'll be like, you know what? Let's translate this, and then we'll get all 4 of them.
It'd be funny if they just put our patch on there.
I would cry with joy because like finally, I don't know how would you feel about that if they without your permission just put on the patch
first.
What about if they didn't?
I've been asking around, and they are certainly aware of it. But it's unfortunately the Japanese have a different attitude towards fan translation. So the most they can do is just smile and like appreciate it from afar. So unfortunately, that's not looking too good for us. But oh well.
Yeah.
Wasn't there like the famous thing on like the Smash Pack where they downloaded the ROMs off the internet?
Pretty much. No, Nintendo did that, I think, on their Wii U consoles. What happened with the Smash Pack is the person that put it together was like, oh yeah, we know you guys are going to use it to put games, but here's how you load ROMs on there. So they literally put instructions on how to load ROMs for you. But Nintendo actually grabbed pirated ROMs and that were flagged with that and put that on the eShop. So I think that's what you're thinking of.
That's funny.
But yeah, anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Gotta close out sadly. God, the conversation so good. I gotta leave though. But yeah, we'll be back next week. Remember, definitely if you want to support us on Patreon, definitely support us on Patreon, and that'll be a lot helpful in financially supporting us. I don't know why I said support 5 times. Sorry about that, guys. Gotta thank our top patrons, C-Win or Burnt Ends, that's in the chat right now. Awesome guy, love you. Emerald Nova, 32-bit stuff, Memphis, and Super Dimension Century Orgus. Big thank you for backing us on Patreon. Oh yeah, and David, Derek A-Team also backed us at 10%. Guess we get shouted. Go back us on Patreon at the $10 level, and you'll be able to get shouted on all the shows. Definitely check us out on Discord. Go chat with us. Post your collections. Post your Sakura Wars stuff. Also, definitely, if you want a shirt, go on Threadless. Get a shirt of SHIRO and get cool designs. We have a lot of cool designs I think you guys would love. And yeah, of course, if you guys want to support us non-financially, share us out, like, subscribe, keep viewing the streams, talking in the chat, posting Sakura Wars collections everywhere for me to see so I can like that. And yeah. And one more thing, Paul Blurt says, are you going to wear a Sakura shirt? If you send me a link to a Sakura shirt that I can get in like less than a week, I will wear it on the stream guaranteed. There's a 100% Patrick promise. So anybody, if you send me a link to a Sakura Wars shirt that I can get like in 2 days, I'll wear it on the show straight up next week. But anyways, I think that's about it. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you everyone in the chat, Burnt Ends, Trekkies Unite, and of course, Night of Dragon for joining us for this awesome game experience. And thank you guys for watching, and remember, you must play Sega Saturn.